Bags, where heart lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with another collaborative effort from us here at Body Bags. Tonight, physical media. I don't know why we didn't jump off this in the beginning, but physical media, why we do it, why you should do it, I guess. Basically, another top 5 roundtable discussion of sorts, and we'll all have some sort of different physical media distribution company that we want to show off tonight a little bit, talk about, and so yeah. So how you guys been?
Pretty good.
Good. Tired. Early morning start with this.
Was it 5? Is it 5 for you right now?
Yeah, 5 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah, have like a coffee like now.
Well, don't worry. By the time we get done with this, as we always say, Lonnie will be just going into another gear, watching something, and the rest of us will be crawling somewhere. So, real quick before we jump into this, do you guys want to mention anything new or anything? I did have a question, physical media related. Maybe you guys could answer. I was snooping around the other day because I thought, isn't Terminator coming out on 4K?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I noticed there was a pre-order, but no date of release. Do we know when that's supposed to come out?
I haven't heard anything.
Oh crap! I had to turn this off.
You know what? I'll do a deep. I'll keep checking.
Hopefully, you don't get flagged for that junk. Dang it!
You can't hear anything, so.
Yeah, like Warner Brothers is supposed to have pre-orders up for Terminator, North by Northwest, and Blazing Saddles. But the problem is every time you go on the links on Amazon or whatever, it just says the title is yet to be released.
Okay, Terminator 4K. This is the Steelbook edition. I don't know whether they're Steelbooks, but November 5th.
Oh,
Okay.
is there a price on that?
I'll take a look right now. It doesn't say. It's either 4K. Okay, and I think just the standard 4K edition is $24.99.
What's that?
Steelbook's a limited edition.
Mm-hmm.
Looks pretty damn good though. I gotta admit, I like for a change they've used a different cover.
Is that the one where it's the side of the Terminator's head and it's like orange and pinks and stuff? Yeah.
It's quite a good looking cover, I gotta say.
Nice.
Mm.
When I looked it up on Amazon, there wasn't even an image or anything to look at, and no date of release. So that's why I was curious.
Yeah, I still don't think there's any images on Amazon, but there is on Blu-ray.com. So.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I saw it on on Facebook, Dawn of the Discs. It popped up there a few days ago.
I don't know about you guys, but I did notice in my Walmart, the shelves are starting to fill up a little bit. Some Halloween stuff, Halloween-related stuff, steel books, and not the biggest assortment, but better.
Oh, that's good. Well, here in Finland, we have Prisma and City Market. So they're like the big supermarket chain. And both my local ones have completely got rid of all of their movie sections. Nothing, no.
That's wrong. It's the fall of Western civilization. When you music, books, and movies out of stores, it's the fall of Western civilization.
You remember back in the day when our major gripe was going into a rental store and wondering why with the manager they didn't have a special Halloween section off to the side because it was October. I mean, that was like our biggest gripe in life, Why isn't there a Halloween section in the store for me to just go right to? Now it's, why don't you have anything?
Exactly.
I got into a little bit of a discussion with some girl at my Walmart who was trying to convince me that every Walmart in the country was the same as far as what they have. And I'm like, well, that's funny because I have a buddy who lives in Arizona and he says they don't, I was talking about the bloody disgusting stuff. And, you know, they don't see the stuff. And so I don't know what you're talking about. It's all over. I said,
It's
you
not.
know, and
No,
she's
no,
like,
no.
oh, I don't know. That's just what they tell us. I'm like, wow.
So every time, as a matter of fact, I just got back from Walmart a couple of hours ago. None of the bloody, disgusting stuff, none of the figures, none of that stuff is just not there. So they're putting out their Halloween stuff, but it's nothing like that, you know.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
James, did you buy a face hugger popcorn bucket?
Yes.
Wow.
I was so happy to get this. I was really surprised that we got it in Finland. Yeah.
You know, when I went to my we went to go see, what was it? Wasn't Alien Romulus? Maybe it was. And I asked the girl, I'm like, what is the deal, man? I got a buddy. Look at this bike. I showed her the pic that you had sent.
Mm.
I'm like, what? Look at this. Look what they got over there. And she's just like, dang. I was like, so nothing. She's like, nah, we ain't got nothing.
That's crazy. Yeah, I saw like you had different exclusives for different cinemas that are in the US, and there's two different xenomorph heads, and there was this like what was it? Some kind of a test tube which had face hugger in it, and it had like the light inside. But then you had the drinks as well, and one of the tops for the drinks had a face hugger that fit inside the tube. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then saw this, but I got this when I went to watch Longlegs, and the week after I went to watch Alien Romulus, and they'd all gone. So I was happy I jumped on that straight away.
Yeah. That was smart, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a nice little thing to just kind
It's
of
really
display.
rare you get stuff like that. They didn't even have the what would people call it? The June fleshlight. Didn't have that here.
See, our two main theaters are AMC and CG, and neither ever really. And they're decent chains as far as, you know, the experience and all, but
I think
nothing
it's
special.
Regal that had one of the xenomorph heads. Regal.
Huh.
I remember that one sticking in the name.
Interesting. Glenn, you got anything new real quick, or?
Not really. All I can say is, you know, if you go to Spirit Halloween, they have more of those VHS type boxes back again. That's about all the news I got.
Lonnie, got anything on the 4K front?
Well, I got a couple of things coming next week. I got this in today. I was just telling Rob a little while ago. I wish I had it. It's way over there, but I wish I had. I wish I could see that. I got this in today.
Oh,
And I wish I had the box with me. It is ridiculous. You should see the size of the box they put it in. And it's like, really, Amazon? You really need a box that big for a Blu-ray? Come on. Usually you guys just do usually you just do like the envelopes and stuff like that. But it was here in the box and everything, but it was just a huge one. Yeah.
I tell you
Next,
what, send it in a huge box and then in an envelope.
Yeah. Box sets come in an envelope. Small ones come in a huge box.
Yeah, weird.
Monday, I'm supposed to be getting in my 4K for Godzilla -1. I got the box set. I'm supposed to get it Monday, and I got some other stuff coming too next week, like Late Night with the Devil, the Steelbook.
Yeah.
And, let's see, I forget. Oh yeah, I think I already know what my second random for September is going to be. They got the miniseries of Fatal Vision coming out. It's about the McDonald murders, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna, because there's a scene where there's a scene in the movie where this forensic evidence, he's like blood, evidence guy. He's telling Carl Malden, is like, I think I can pinpoint, as close as you can get how the murders were done. And so when there's this whole scene, like when he's explaining it, it's like you go in and you're seeing it as it's happening. It's probably one of the most chilling things I think I've ever seen. It's like I remember we watched that miniseries as a kid, and my brother had nightmares for weeks after watching that. Of course, it makes it worse when it's like, you realize this is based on a true story. It really happened. So I was thinking about that. I was like, I get that. That's probably going to be my second random for September. But yeah, I got some stuff coming. So
Nice. Oh, actually, I'm a little late to the game, but with a Severin sale, finally picked this up. Now they've said that there's a second one coming. Finally grabbed this.
Ooh.
Yeah, it took a while. Yeah, I literally got it like last week, and that was a Severin sale. It was in July, so pretty slow. But they do say it does take a bit of time. They're a slow company, I think. But really looking forward to checking all these ones out.
Nice.
There's about 5 or 6 I think I've seen from there, so it should be a nice one to dig through in October.
Nice.
one thing
All right, you guys ready?
I was just gonna say real quick. One thing I think is funny is people are like, "Dude, you spent that money on that goddamn opera release and everything else." Yeah, and they said the color timing is even right on. It's like, yeah, but Severin's already said, all I gotta do is sit and wait. They'll do the replacement disc
They'll
and
fix it.
wait, and they'll send it to me. So, it'll get fixed and everything. Even still, like the 4K that I watched, the picture quality was still pretty damn good. I mean, it still looked really good. So
what do we mean by that exactly? Like
I guess
what's the issue?
that the colors are darker or not as dark as they're supposed to be. I'm not exactly 100% sure what they mean by that. I guess the picture quality is supposed to be lighter or darker or
I wish
whatever.
I had that much freaking time to see those freaking issues when I'm usually just happy I got the freaking movie. But,
yeah, when
So
they send me
are you sending replacements out to everyone that got them, or just like, or do you have to send your old disc in, or what?
No. All you have to do is if you bought it off the website, like I did, if you bought it off the website, all you do is you just sit and wait. And as soon as they get the replacement disc, they mail them out to everybody who bought it. So that's all I got. I got to wait till my disc comes in. That's it.
Do they just let you keep the old disc?
Yeah. Well, I've had it with arrows before. It happens more and more at the moment. Like quality control, I guess, there's so much things on these discs, and they're trying to release more and more all the time, that I guess these issues just slip through at times.
Yeah.
But we always get to keep the discs. I normally just let them go for free.
Man,
I just give them to someone.
I used to get I'd need like a replacement disc. It used to be like, well, okay, send us your disc and we'll send you the replacement.
Yeah, that's the old way. Yeah, I remember doing that. I'm like, oh, what? I've got to go out of my way to fix your problem. Okay, then, fine, I'll do that.
There you go. You'll end up with a second copy of Opera, a slightly darker second copy of Opera.
Lonnie, if you end up with two discs of Opera, you send me one.
Yeah, you know where to go now.
I'm gonna say, if you don't mind it being a little bit darker, a little bit.
I probably won't even freaking notice the difference.
You'll send the wrong disc. You'll send the corrected one, and you won't even know because it looks so similar.
Oh, but that'd be like, oh shit! I sent him the replacement disc.
Yeah.
I think the only time, I think one of the only times I ever really sat there and tried to pay attention to that stuff, and it was only because they made such a big deal about the Jaws 4K release. And that was a phenomenal piece of work they did on that movie. But even the Cauldron release of City was pretty good. I liked the colors seemed really dark and the way it should have been.
Oh, speaking of Cauldron, hey Rob, you remember you're upset because you weren't able to pre-order that Houses of Doom set, Consider yourself lucky. From everything I've heard, they've been having a hell of a time with that set. It keeps getting pushed back. and everything. They're having a hell of a time getting that thing put together. So I don't know what it is. I remember you were upset because you couldn't get it. It's like, well, you'd be more upset now if you did pre-order. It's like, I paid my money. It's like, damn, now it's not coming out till mid-September. Now it's not coming out till the 1st of October and all this kind of stuff. It was supposed to be out, I think it was supposed to be out like in July.
And I stepped into that freaking anthropophagus freaking puddle. Yeah, that wasn't that great of a. I mean, I should have realized that there was a better release of it from the site itself, but I just jumped on the Amazon UK and I mean, it's all right. It looks great and everything, but I wish I would have known Opera was right around the corner. I would have held out, but just never know. Things just drop. They just drop.
So often now as well. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it hurts the wallet.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, all right, you guys right.
The newest releases, what they've announced from Scream. From Scream Factory, these are just what they've announced, and it's a strange bunch of movies. There's Dragon, the Bruce Lee story on 4K.
Yeah, guys.
The Stephen Chow collection, which looks to be it looks to be like comedic stuff. I don't know. Rush 4K, Labyrinth on 4K, Dark Crystal on 4K, Born on the 4th of July on 4K, Golden Harvest Volume 1, which is Supernatural Shockers. So there we go. One horror movie. Escape from New York on 4K.
That's that weird steelbook. People being like not happy with the cover art of that.
And Krampus on 4K steelbook. It's just me, but this seems like a weird lineup. For Scream Factory.
Oh, they're not Shout, they're Scream.
Yeah, it says Scream and Shout. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it just seems like a really weird. Okay, well, yeah, the Golden Harvest one seems kind of cool. Got Sex Zen, Erotic Ghost Story 1, 2, and 3. No, actually, Erotic Ghost Story 2 and 3, not part 1. Your Vampire and Robotrix. So that seems like kind of the closest thing to horror that's in there. I have to admit, I like the cover of Escape from New York, though.
Well, I can't remember what one of the comments were. It's it was a good cover if it was Suicide Squad. Someone said.
Yeah, I mean that is actually the perfect definition of this cover, and I mean it looks kind of cool. I gotta say. I
mean, whenever they release something and it's different artwork, then it's like, well, there's effort at least into it.
Oh yeah, and I mean, they're let's put it this way. We're at a time now where you can use AI to make anything, and this is obviously, just looking at it, looks like hand painted.
Yeah,
art. I will applaud that for being a hand painted piece of art.
Yeah, that's the way you want to do it. I know there's a lot of publishing companies with books now, and they actually state that they do not use AI because I don't know what the publishing company was. I can't remember the author, but someone got commissioned to do some artwork, and they found out that it was actually AI. And the guy was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used AI. And it's because I'm very... Wow. Being a graphic designer, I'm very against AI, and I work with copywriters, so I'm very against AI. But then my company does use AI in certain areas. You'll be amazed about companies that do use AI, but it's not within aesthetics and things. It's like working models, and like pharmaceutical companies use AI all the time. It's everywhere, AI. You just don't realize it. It's crazy. But from a designer point of view, like artworks and packaging and all these things, like that's where I'm like not happy with it, because I know illustrators as well, and it's taking away their jobs.
Yeah.
Problem is also it's getting good now. It used to be you'd see a piece of AI art and it'd be a person, there'd be like 6 fingers on one hand or whatever. It's learned not to do that now.
It is improving, yeah. Like what our local, the big local supermarket here, you see this, like all these pictures, and then there's one, it's towards the back, and it kind of looks a bit like a horror picture because the guy is in this alleyway. It's a bit dark, and he has 3 legs, so it's like a bit freaky. But I kind of appreciate that.
Oh man. Well, hey, one thing I can say for it, if you get like somebody who's like maybe like a low budget filmmaker, can maybe get like a nice cover for their release due to using AI, as opposed to like some of the crap covers we've seen.
But I always think you can just speak to a local artist, and someone will be like, I get something that's seen by people. So I think there's always the alternative, and that's one of my issues a little bit with Late Night with the Devil. They used AI within that movie, and it's like it really wasn't necessary where they used it, and it's exactly that. It's like, I think that the comment was that it's saving a few bucks or something like that. It's like, that's the problem. It's taking money from people that want to work in the industry, that want to do these things, and it's all about cost cutting and money saving, but that takes from someone else's family, from their hands, from their bank account. And AI, it's kind of, it copies other things. I should have checked my source, but there's this one AI where they've been asking it many questions, and it's basically said it can't do things without copying from people. So at some point, copyright law will pick up. It will catch up with all of this, because AI is running so fast, the legal system can't keep up. Because there's this thing, it's like you can choose your favorite artist. You can choose Geiger, and you're like, I want this image in the style of H.R. Geiger. And then, poof, you have your own artwork. I mean, you do that with modern artists today, and people, and it's like, well, how can that not be copyright infringement? How can it not be? And it's not, because it's like you are telling the AI, and the AI will copy someone's style, and it's like, how on earth is that not copyright infringement? And that's taking then that artist, that's taking jobs and money away from them.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about one not long ago. Remember when I mentioned Mark Maddox from, who's a guest on Bloody Pit, and he's pretty dang good artist who's done quite a bit of stuff, but I'm sure, I've never really heard him talk to the issue of AI, but I'm sure he's probably had tons of conversations with people about what does this mean, kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to talk about one of the artists in a little bit with my movies, but nothing to do with AI. But I am talking about cover art. Spoiler.
All right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, since I'm leading off, I guess it's safe to say Anchor Bay is maybe the godfather of distribution companies.
Oh yeah.
Is that a safe assessment?
I think so.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Just a little bit of history, just a little bit. I was actually kind of surprised by something in particular. Well, a couple of things actually, but because I thought Anchor Bay actually was around a little bit earlier, but I don't know if you guys remember Video Treasures.
Yeah.
That was one company, and Star Maker were the two companies that merged in '95 to create Anchor Bay.
Oh.
And so it's in '95 Anchor Bay as a result of a couple smaller companies merging, and of course, DVD, Blu-ray, Laserdisc. They were in that business, which I don't have any to show off in my 5, unfortunately, but VHS. but in by 2017, it folded into Lionsgate, of course. But in 2024, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Umbrella Entertainment bought the name Anchor Bay from Lionsgate as a revival of sorts of the company's name, and they're hoping to deal in some genre films, undiscovered treasures, as they say, and cult classics. But two right off the top, have you guys heard of Dinner with Leatherface?
Yeah.
Mm.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, a documentary
Yeah.
on Gunnar Hansen, and that's going to be one of the new Anchor Bay's release here, coming down quick. And then there's another film, Abruptio, if I'm saying it right. It was started back in 15. It's animation. There's already a pre-order for it, and but here's what's really interesting: they snagged both, among many people, Sid Haig and Robert Englund.
Oh.
So before Sid Haig left us, he was already part of this project. And so and the thing that really surprised me more than just Dinner with Leatherface, it's on IMDb, you can, check it out. But when you see a year like 95, I'm like, I feel like I was delving into Anchor Bay before 95, but when I really think about it, 94, I get out of the Army. My wife and I, we go back home, and then I remember occasionally, now we were really poor back then, but occasionally we made trips out to Erie, PA, to a place called Media Play. And that is maybe the first place where physical media, really started to take on a new form for me. Because you could walk in the door sometimes and you would see, you just don't appreciate things at the moment. You just like, oh, well, that's nice. That'll always be around. And, they got these giant bins full of the tin case releases Anchor Bay had put out. And, just running through all their filmography, I forgot, they put out quite a few Italian titles back in the day. And so when you were going into places like Media Player or wherever it was that you were delving into in the mid 90s, chances are if you were buying horror, Anchor Bay's image was on it.
Oh yeah.
And so that being said, let me run through my honorable mentions real quick. I just got 3. Number 3 was a shocker to me, and I could not wait to talk about this because I had no idea. But I just finished season 1 of The Walking Dead. Well, even though Anchor Bay's image is nowhere to be found on this, when you got the put disc first in, one of the first major images comes up is Anchor Bay Entertainment.
Oh, nice.
And so I did a little homework. They apparently had released seasons 1 through 6.
Oh,
and then something happened.
Wow.
Well, I guess Lionsgate took over, and as far as But so number 3, I figure I just had no idea Anchor Bay had a hand in The Walking Dead for the first half of its run. Number 2, now this was a real gem of a surprise. One of the first of their horror releases, I actually have on VHS.
Oh, nice.
Go figure. I never even really thought about it until we were getting ready to do this. But 1997, I think it came out. 97, yeah. Anchor Bay released Prom Night. Nice low VHS.
Yeah.
All about. And well, so not a bad in there. Where is it? Where's our little Anchor? Well, yeah, you see both Anchor Bay and Video Treasures.
Yeah.
And I actually do have a few Video Treasure releases, like the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I have that Video Treasure release, and as well as the widescreen.
Still
But
funny
Prom
to
Night
see
was
those
one of their
cardboard.
So
You
Prom Night
don't-
was one of their first releases.
It's just insane seeing the VHS cardboard because they were all what would you call them in US and Canada? Clamshell. They were all plastic cases in the UK. So you never
Oh.
got cardboard. So I remember being a kid and realizing that US you had cardboard, and I was always like,
So
don't
cool.
those get damaged and ripped and stuff like that? Because you had
Yeah,
this
this
solid
is.
plastic.
It's not mid condition, but it's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So I was
No, it looks
surprised when
great.
I was going back in their filmography, and I'm like, wait a minute, Prom Night. I think I have that on VHS, and sure enough, it was the one. So go
That's cool.
figure. The other one, my number, and I'm just going chronological when the movies were first released, but this set I picked up in Walmart. Anchor Bay worked with another company, well, Scream Factory, to put this beautiful condensed edition of this franchise, which I wish you would see more often so that people like me could grab these more often. But Anchor Bay had their hands on this as well. Where's the Anchor Bay? Right over there, right next to Scream Factory.
Yeah.
So, and this, I think this ran, or I think this was released, if I got the year right, 2014, which seems a bit absurd. Some of these years just seem absurd, but I guess that's when it was, when I found it in Walmart. But so, and I thought about that because one, yeah, I think James mentioned maybe whatever company running off, or another company it might have worked with or whatever. I can't remember, but I thought that was interesting. So, little history of Anchor Bay, and like I said, I mean, when I wasn't a collector then, but I mean, I wish I would have started then, because my God, I could have had the whole stinking tin set, but I just, you don't think about that stuff. And so, I mean,
No.
God, if you could just go in a time machine and go back in time,
And just
I'd be buying everything left and right. But anyway, so those are my honorable mentions: Anchor Bay, and the top 5 are to follow. So, Glenn.
so for me, I decided to go with Unearthed Films, one of my all-time favorite companies. I got a bit of their history here. Founded 2002. So again, another one. You feel it's been longer, but it really hasn't.
Yeah.
Basically, just to release like genre stuff from around the world was basically the idea when they started. They went on to start producing movies as well, and to this day, they got like some good stuff, and they're definitely like the place to go if you want like extreme cinema. I mean, there's a reason that they're the official home of a Serbian film. There's a reason why they have the baby for sale website for $7,000. I'm not getting. It's still there. There's a reason they're selling a prop of like a penis in a jar from some other movie. I mean, just saying. Unearthed Films, I first learned about from the guinea pig movies.
Mm-hmm.
I was after those, and you can't really get them anymore. Really, usually you're getting bootlegs nowadays.
Yeah.
I have one official one. I have the rest on bootleg. That's just kind of how it is. But it's definitely a company that, how can I put this? It's a company that genuinely seems to like its fans. And a perfect example of this is they did a whole sub label of what they call Too Extreme for Mainstream. They weren't very good movies, but they were supposed to be like these extreme things. Most of them was just gay porn, honestly. But the first release of it was based on John Wayne Gacy's murders, and they had this whole thing where you could get like a special thing where you'd get like the DVD, you'd get like some other stuff, you'd get an actual letter from John Wayne Gacy, that he bought, and like we're getting away with it. So they put all these out, and then it turns out that the letters that they had reproductions. So our boy Stephen Bira, who runs Unearthed Films, went out to a well-known collector of murderabilia and bought a bunch of actual letters and sent them out. You know, no charge. You got to hold your hand up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for my honorable mentions, I got 3. First up is Brutal. It's from 2015, Japanese flick. Essentially, serial killer meets serial killer, and love ensues. A serial killer love story. That's what that movie is. Fun flick, honestly. It's nice and brutal and quite good. So, honorable mention. Next one is Record Murder. This is weird because it's directed by a Japanese guy, but most of the people in it are Korean. So I don't really know where it falls. You know, I don't know where it comes from, but you know, it's a damn good movie. And you know, that cover does kind of give away a thing at the end. Is what it is, right? And last up, I love this movie. Honestly, this would have been in my top ones, except you know, I didn't. American Guinea Pig Bloodshot. Great movie, all black and white except for one scene, and because of that, that scene hits you like a freight train. Directed by Marcus Cook. Great release. And this is, you know, this is going back to the heyday of physical releases, you know? 3 discs, like booklet, you know.
Wow.
You know, that's how it used to be back in the day. So, yeah. Those are my honorable mentions.
Nice.
Great company.
Okay, my turn then. Originally, I was going to go with Via Vision, but I realized I didn't have enough titles to really make a good, accurate list or anything. So I decided to go ahead and go with Arrow because I got a ton of Arrow. As far as the history goes, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to read a little bit off Wikipedia because it was too much for me to remember. It said Arrow Films was established in 1991 as a family firm in Shenley, Hertfordshire. Whilst Arrow Films was the company's primary brand for theatrical releases, the Arrow video label was created in 2009, specializing in cult and horror film video. In September 2011, the Aerodrome branded was created for budget DVDs. So that's what it says there for the history of it. The thing, Arrow has definitely become a favorite of mine over the last few years. Well, one thing, even though I'm in America, I love British culture. I just have a fascination with it. I always have. I love, you know, British cinema, British literature, just all kinds of things like that. As a matter of fact, when I used to date my ex-girlfriend Grace, we used to. That was one of our things we used to do. Is like, I would, you know, I would like tell her about like all kinds of different British slang and things like this, you know, things that she didn't know, and all this. And it was just something that I was always interested in. And I love Hammer films. I love, you know, just all, you know, not everything the BBC has done, but a lot of BBC films and shows and things like this. So I just always had a love for British culture. So Arrow's definitely become a favorite of mine, and just with the quality of their work, I love supporting them. I know they've messed up from time to time. They messed up on disc. I remember it was a big one when they did the 4K for Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, and then that one got recalled because of a quality control issue and stuff. But for the most part, they've always been pretty solid. So for my honorable mentions, the first one I'm going to go with is Candyman.
That's a beautiful edition. It really is.
Yeah.
edition, and like on the back there.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons why this is definitely an honorable mention for me was because I remember when I got the 4K Blu-ray from Scream Factory, when they put it out, it was disgustingly abysmal, the edition that they put out, because it was 3 discs in the case. They were all stacked on top of each other. But everything it was awful. I mean, it just like Scream Factory didn't even try. And I for a while, and then when this came out, I mean, this here, you got the booklet, hang on, got the booklet and everything else, and you got this beautiful edition and all that with the original cover art, and you got a poster in there, body cards and everything. It's like it was just, it was just so far above and beyond what Scream Factory did. There was just no way, I could not jump on this. And looks better on here. You got the bonus features, all that kind of stuff, and it just was. I mean, I was just so gobsmacked by how beautiful this was compared to the Scream Factory. So yeah. So this is my first one. My first honorable mention is Candyman. My next one up is Microwave Massacre.
Awesome.
This movie. It is ridiculous. It is the reason why I picked it. I was kind of going back and forth whether or not I wanted to put this in my top 5 or just do as an honorable mention, because this movie is absurdly ridiculous. It's not a particularly good movie, but it is funny as hell. You got Jackie Vernon, who I'm always going to remember as the voice of Frosty the Snowman. That's just how I always grew up with him. He's a construction worker. His wife gets this big industrial size microwave, and he kills her, and he accidentally microwaves one of her body parts, and he eats it. Then he realizes, hey, this tastes pretty good. Human flesh in the microwave tastes pretty good. And so he goes out and he starts, picking up all these women. It's an absurd idea in and of itself that all these women are going to be hot to trot for Jackie Vernon. But he picks up all these women, he brings them home, and he starts killing them and cutting them up and cooking them in the microwave and eating them and all this stuff. And it's like, and there are some really, really funny lines in here. He's like, at one point, he's like, "Oh man, I'm so hungry, I could eat a whore." Or he's like, "Oh my God, he's like stocking body parts in this freezer. Is like, oh no, I'm either going to have to eat more or screw less." But I mean, just the fact like this movie is so out of whack and everything, but that Arrow would turn around and give this such love and appreciation for it, and they put the bonus features on there that they could. I mean, granted, it's not the huge list like you're used to seeing, but I mean, the fact that you got anything at all, something like this, and I have to appreciate something like that, because for the longest time, I mean, this was just it was just on a DVD that was really bad quality and all that stuff, but that they took it, they did a nice cleanup on the transfer, and they just gave this movie some love. A movie that probably most companies wouldn't even bother with. So I have to give them props for that. But I just thought this was a funny movie, and he lives in he lives in this neighborhood. I'm sitting there like, man, where is this neighborhood? I want to move there, because all these hot to trot, horny women, good-looking women. It's like, I want to move there. Where does this place happen? But anyway, but yeah, just overall, the fact that they took this and gave it some love. So that's my number 2. And then this is probably going to be pretty obvious, but my number 3 honorable mention is American Werewolf in London.
Cool.
I was, for a while there, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe Universal was going to do a 4K of this. It's just like, whatever. But then, it's like, no, Arrow put this out and gave it the beautiful big box treatment and everything else. And like, you got all those bonus features. Look at all that. It looks great on 4K and everything else. Of course, you got your, the funny part, look at this now. It's like the cover of that's like the cover for the slip cover, for the DVD when you buy it at Walmart, like at Halloween time.
Yeah.
That same artwork, but then on the back, you got the pentagram. But just the fact that they, like I said, I thought we were going to get maybe kind of just a basic like standard 4K from Universal, but Arrow,
I
they
love
already did
the
the Blu-ray, so they
love
pulled.
the cover art on that. That is so
John
beautiful.
Humphreys. Yeah, he does a lot for Arrow.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, so yeah, American Werewolf, Microwave Massacre, and Candyman. Those are my 3 honorable mentions.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. So my company that I went with, Arrow was my big one that got me into collecting. It really did. And then when I was kind of very aware of the collecting, then I got caught by Over the Pond Scream Factory. And I remember when I was super happy getting my very first Scream Factory, which was Nightbreed. Yeah. When I got my Region 3 Blue, and then I got the Scream Factory of Nightbreed, and then I fell down the rabbit hole of Vinegar Syndrome. I'd heard about them for quite a few years, and then I made my first order, and yeah, that company. It's quite a new company, so it's founded 2012, and it was primarily based within the world of porn, as they put it. What's that? To write his name down, Ryan Emerson and Joe Rubin. So it was as they put it, the golden age of porn. So 60s, 70s, and 80s porn restorations. And then they started to branch out, they kind of the horror and exploitation. And then they were clever with their physical media, because they kind of got it. They poured their hearts and souls into every release of theirs. Looks great. Well, I remember it's the norm now, but every new release you were getting, you're like, this movie has no right to look as good as it does. And then they clicked in, and physical media, these are collectors that collect this stuff, and they exploded into the world of slipcovers. That's what blew them up. And they have their subscription service as well, which is a huge thing. But I'd kind of forgotten about this. So in like 2015 to like 2018, they did Skinnerflix, which was a streaming service. Now, it was kind of, I think I first purchased in 2017 from VS, from Vinegar Syndrome. So that's something that I didn't get into, plus being across the pond. So I think I couldn't get that service without VPN at the time and things. So yeah, that was something that they were doing for a while. Again, it was going to be focused on porn, and then they were going to do all these different areas like looking at horror, looking at exploitation. But that's something that they phased out to really start to focus on the physical media more and more. And I think that is the time, 2018, is when the slipcovers started to boom away. They're like, let's focus our money in a different area with physical media side. Let's do physical media, like say physical, something that our collectors can touch. And then that's when they've been progressing ever since, and they have their little different lines. It's that one called the VSP. So that's one where they get films which are pretty much like, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to talk about VSP a little bit later because that's one of my choices. But I need to just grab my honorable mentions because sleepily waking up just before this call, I forgot to grab them. So the first one, where is it? My brain is switching off from what it was called. The thing with these companies as well, the physical media really helped us kind of tap into the global world of movies. So we get movies from all over, and this is a movie I was like, okay, I think there was just a DVD that was bouncing around for the longest time, and then they go and get Cat 3, Ebola Syndrome on 4K. It's like, just like, what are you doing? Like, absolutely stunning release. And then, like I was saying, these slipcovers, insane quality. And that's the sort of thing I remember really seeing slipcovers and Screen Factory, and I was like, oh wow, these things, and people were going crazy for them. And then Arrow was jumping on, and then you got all these different companies like Vinegar Syndrome, but not to bash on Screen Factory, but I was suddenly became disappointed that not that it's thinner cardboard, that they would just replicate the artwork which they already had. So it's like when you get the I'll say the big distribution companies, when they do slipcovers, that's their game. They just, oh, we'll just put they have no care. It's like, oh, we'll just put a piece of cardboard around this because collectors will like it. Oh, it's just the same artwork. And I mean, Screen Factory don't do that. They have, I can't remember the primary artist that they use, but they do put the effort into, they create their own like artworks for their movie releases. But I wish that there's slips. Maybe it's because like Arrow sometimes does the same, or they do a few different ones, but especially with Vinegar Syndrome, they spoil us a little bit too much maybe. So I will grab the next one. Whoops. Sorry about this, guys, super professional. So another thing with Vinegar Syndrome, growing and growing and growing, that they established that they would have partner labels. We've seen, they've been going for a couple of years, you had seen some come and some go. Obviously, when you lock into a company like Vinegar Syndrome, there'll be certain things that you have to abide by. But then I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that there might be, whether it's just an affiliation with the company and then you're sold on their website and they have so much like people coming in and out every single day that it just helps with the distribution, or if they actually do help with them with the money with any of the movies, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a lot of different partner labels now, and one of them, which was like really happy to see, this is one that does have different releases, but for the US market there wasn't this release. Yeah, I think the only 4K was maybe an Italian one, but definitely a German one. But we have from Shudder, we have The Sadness, with, again, we get extremely spoiled with not only a slipcover, a box for the slipcover with the original artwork, and then they kick in and do their own artwork, and it's just fantastic stuff by Vinegar Syndrome. It's just insanity what they do. But this is of course a Shudder release, and I think when you distribute through Vinegar Syndrome, it ups your game a bit. So we get this from Shudder. I don't know how much, if anything, Vinegar Syndrome has in connection with this. I think at the very least they use the same company, the Vinegar Syndrome, because the quality of this is exceptional. It's truly exceptional. Maybe that's enough with the two. I think I'm good with the two, because I could easily just, being this company, pull everything off a shelf, because there's so much effort put into their releases. And that was just kind of looking at the physical side of it. Like I did mention earlier, that the quality of the restorations they do, it's literally second to none. I think possibly the best in the game. Yeah, well, whatever they release, it's like some of these, like I said, some of these movies have no right to look as they do. They look absolutely stunning, and it's like this let's forget the name, Ryan Emerson. I don't know why that doesn't click in, and Joe Rubin. They really got this, and like I said, how they started with porn, the golden age of porn, and then just expanded into the horror and exploitation. It's just perfect for collectors like ourselves. And I think, I can't remember what it's called now, but they've actually separated, so the porn now has its own website and its own, so it kind of runs on its own separate company almost. So then everything else we get, then they're spreading out. They have like almost like family movies. Sometimes we get in some bigger like MGM stuff, we get like Showgirls and Roadhouse. There's getting stuff from all over the world, Cat 3, more horror, more exploitation, bigger movies, more movies that you've never heard of, and everything in between. So yeah, that's what happened on this one.
Their work on Splatter University, again, it's like Glenn always says, and you just said, I mean, that movie has absolutely no right having that packaged the way it is, because that is so freaking awesome. I mean, and you watch the movie and it's like, this is not what I quite remember as a kid, and the TV spots and everything and the marketing and all of that. You know, it's but yeah, they do a phenomenal job, man. And the sadness for a movie that doesn't even get talked about anymore, it has gotten some really nice treatment from a few companies.
Yeah.
I think they're
You also get, the box sets that they're doing. You know, like their Amityville box set. You know, just.
I think the release that they did for Texas Massacre Part 2, that is,
Yeah, I think that it's like those movies do not deserve that treatment, but that you still get it. So you have to hold your hand up to Vinegar Syndrome. You know that they are willing
Really do.
to give, things that don't deserve it, the quality release that,
Sorry, now I'm grabbing stuff left, right, and center.
And this is
I was scared I was going to do this, but I've just got to show you just some of the releases that they do. Like Slaughterhouse.
See,
It's just
this
pure
is why we do
insanity.
it. This is why we do it right here.
yeah.
That's why we do it.
Oh, hell goes the frog down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then one of the latest ones.
Oh,
Actually, Rob will really appreciate this one as well. I think all of you will. Everyone will appreciate. Yeah, it's like great movie, but what the hell is it doing getting this kind of release? It's just crazy. But then I love this slip. It's the booklet. It's just phenomenal stuff.
Oh man!
And that's before you even get to all the stuff they put on the disc. It's just
that's amazing.
Just crazy.
That is amazing.
I mean, a box for a slip. It's
isn't that amazing? We've gone from our trips into the video store renting VHS and either sometimes being amazed or maybe not so amazed by the cover art or the boxes, that we'll see on the shelf, and all these years later, look what we got these companies that are just going so far beyond to just create some of the best packaging.
That's why I love them. They Vinegar Syndrome get it.
Oh yeah.
It's physical media, and it's like physically, they like picking stuff up.
Well, Vinegar Syndrome are kind of like how it is with vinyl. It's an experience to get it, to open it up, to take the record out, to put it on. That's what Vinegar Syndrome are doing. They're making it an event. Without the movie, shove it in, there you go, done. It's like, no, you got to open the box, you got to open the slip, you got to take the movie out. Oh man, it makes it more. It almost goes back to like the days of VHS, where you'd have to take the movie, you'd have to open it up, you'd have to take it out, put it in. It'd be like a whole, almost like ritual to watch a movie,
Yeah.
I love
Completely.
it.
That's the fun of it, man. And and partly too, I mean, how many times have we pulled out the book and actually read the book, or just the work. I mean, the Arrow release of City of the Living Dead, the book that came in there. I mean, I've read that through a few times now already. Just some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for just go through our top 5?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's funny because with Anchor Bay being sort of the godfather of things, I think they sort of really laid out in what they did the possibilities that could be. And so, on my end, it's going to be a little more simplistic, but a lot of what you guys are going to show, I think, we can look back at Anchor Bay and for giving us, just the possibilities. So I just went chronological by the year, and I think this works best because some of the best stuff is at the top end anyways. But it works well to, because this first one, my number 5 film, came out in 2012, and so we said Anchor Bay folded into Lionsgate in 2017. So right before they finally folded in, I love the fact that I can even say his name. I got Anchor Bay on one of this guy's movies, and of course it's Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem, which was an Anchor Bay release. Not the most spectacular packaging ever, but I mean, I was lucky enough to pick it up on the cheap at CD Warehouse. Had the slip still on it.
Is it lenticular?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was on the cheap. It was the Lords of Salem, for whatever reason, was something I dragged my feet on. And then one day I was in CD Warehouse and I saw it sitting there, and I'm like, I can't say, I just got to get it. And Rob Zombie being the consummate artist that he is, listening to his, thankfully his commentaries on there, and it's, I mean, his commentaries are also just always freaking fun. And this movie, man, is it's like his throwback, right, to, whatever or however much Italian cinema, aside from the 70s, grindhouse cinema, Italian cinema also had its impact on Rob. And you get some of that in Lords of Salem. But you probably even get a better view of it, if you read the book that he wrote. Thank you, Glenn, for sending this to me. I was thinking about maybe even rereading it again. You really get a sense of, you do from the film, at times you get it from the movie, but a sense of, even Lucio Fulci had an impact on Rob. And but in terms of its packaging and everything, it's at the tail end of DVD releases. So we know as you go back further and further and further, some of those releases do get quite phenomenal for their time. So I was, I'm just glad to have a Rob Zombie film that actually has an Anchor Bay Entertainment logo on it before they folded into Lionsgate. And of course, Lionsgate would be very, very nice to Rob in the movies that he would produce and direct and stuff. So number 5 at the latter end of Anchor Bay releasing is Lords of Salem.
That's cool. But where does that movie rank with you guys within Rob Zombie scale?
It's my second favorite.
It's my number 2 as well. Love the movie.
Yeah, I never really thought about as much a top 5 of his, but it's at least in the top 3.
Nice.
It's at least, I think, I think H2, Lords, Devils. I think. Devils, H2, Lords, I think, in some order.
Yeah.
I think the standout moment for me there's a few in Lords, but the one is Bruce Davison's. I've mentioned this before when we've talked before, when he gets trapped by the witches, man.
Yeah.
There is such a freaking level of tension. For people to say Rob doesn't know how to create, that scene is about as tension riddled as you're ever going to get in a film. Because man, the way he, when he starts realizing, oh, I am freaking screwed and I am probably not getting out of here. And the way those ladies start to look at him,
it's like a pack of wolves.
It's like, oh, you poor guy, man, you are not getting out of this. And I hate this because I love you as a character, but you ain't getting out of this, man. And he doesn't. And he's such a likable character in the movie. He's probably one of the characters where I wish you would have just gotten so much more of. and you don't get quite enough, but you get enough to make it really super enjoyable. And then, of course, you know, anytime that piece of vinyl is played is
Yeah.
the nightmare sequence with Heidi and her friend there in the room with the surgeons. You know, we might be of use to each other. So freaking awesome. Some of the imagery in that movie, man, is just
It's so solid. Yeah.
yeah, it's so good. And then you know, and just to hear Jason be so astounded with how it looked in black and white and how much fun he had watching it in black and white.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, that scene with the witches, it's when you realize he's not getting out, and then you've got to deal with that, and then he follows you. That's brilliant filmmaking. It's so good. It's so good. Where did you say, Lonnie, with it?
I'm kind of going back and forth between number 2 or number 3. I have to admit,
We're all really high.
as crazy as it sounds, 31 is definitely becoming, I think, like my favorite of his, like my number 1.
Nice.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's just, for me, it's like 31 has so much replay value. And it's like right after that, I'm kind of like, I think Lord probably as the second. I'm trying to go like in terms of like which ones I watch the most. So 31, and then Lords, and then like House of Thousand Corpses, then like H2, Devil's Rejects. You know, trying to remember. You know, I can't even remember all of them. But yeah, it's I probably Lords is probably got my number 2. Yeah,
Cool.
I love that movie. So many creepy images in there and stuff. You know, like.
So freaking moody. I really hope we get something else like it from him. Something that's just like a real sort of throwback to the early, you know, 70s, 60s cinema of just dark, creepy stuff. I think he proved it with Lords that he can do it.
Oh, yeah.
I just absolutely love one of these companies to pick up his catalogue. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You get on Alec, they got like Lords of Salem with like the big hard case. Via Vision just put it out. It's got the lenticular cover. The only new bonus feature is there's a audio commentary by a film historian.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Diabolic. It's like $24.99.
Was it Via Vision, you said?
Yeah, Via Vision. Yeah, they did it.
You know, and I guess the last thing I'll say, you know, is just in terms of physical media. I mean, we've already said so much of why we do this. I mean, you know, if your only alternative is streaming it, you're not getting anything out of that. But here, like we've said, you can open it, you can dig into it, you know, if not just the packaging itself, which at times is way more than some films deserve. You get into the commentary tracks, and I especially love it when you're dealing with a film with a film historian track. And, you know, and to think that there's moments where you even got Rob Zombie applying a commentary track to the Monsters Go Home release. And how awesome is that when you get those kind of commentary tracks? You know, Adam Green, I think, is on the Friday 4, one of the Friday 4 releases as sort of a fan commentary. How awesome is that to see Eli Roth on so many of the Arrow releases and, you know, in just those short little documentaries, you know, Guillermo del Toro, I love his intro and the zombie, just talking about his experiencing zombie for the first time. And you just go on and on and on and on, but that's why we do it, because we love film, we love cinema, and you can get so much more out of it than, you know, I can't tell you how many times I have in the past when I had Shudder, and I kind of wish I still had it, but, you know, we're trying to trim things down, and, you know, but sometimes I would just be wasting 10, 15 minutes of my life just not knowing what to click on. And so I just, you know, bail and come downstairs, look at my shelf, and within 3 seconds, I grab something off my shelf and move on. You know,
I wish I was that quick. I'm forever staring.
Well, you know, you do have your go-tos, though. I mean, if for all else fails, if you can't make up your mind in 10, 15 seconds, you've got, you know, I'm probably pulling the thing off the shelf. I mean, If all else stuff, I don't know what to do. I'm just the thing. Let's go.
Well, it goes down 3 seconds to decide which version of the thing
Yeah.
is good.
Well, that's the problem with the thing too, because I got like 20 releases of the thing. It's like, do I want the screen factor? I want the aero.
Yeah.
So, all right, Glenn, number 5.
My number 5 is essentially Unearth's first real foray into like legitimate cinema, I guess you could say. That's the first of the Unearthed Classics line, and that's the Unnameable. Yeah.
That artwork.
Yeah, this is a movie that is just a blast. It's Lovecraft. I saw this back on VHS back in the day, and I always kind of liked it. Like, and one thing I can always say, the creature in this, it's an elegant design for that creature. You don't see that very often, but you get it in this, and it's a really good transfer. The audio is a bit off on one of the tracks. I think it's the 5.1. Yeah, I think the 5.1 audio track. They actually sourced it from a PAL release, but they didn't adjust for the difference. So the 5.1's a bit out of sync. But if you listen to the mono track, you're perfectly fine. It works great. This was their first step, like I said, into like studio films. I mean, now it can be argued the Unnamed isn't the biggest, studio film by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't like a little underground thing from another country or something by like an unknown director or whatever. This was a movie that had a wide release on VHS before. I don't even know if there was a DVD release of it, but Unearthed came along and they gave us a nice looking Blu-ray. And we've said it before, doesn't necessarily deserve this quality, but it got it. And it's just fun. So number 5, Nameable.
Nice.
It's a nice release.
I love that. That movie's so fun. I just really wish they'd pick up the sequel.
I'm surprised they haven't.
Yeah. I don't know. All I can think is maybe it's tied up in like legal, like who owns the rights and stuff like that. Because I think in the past there have been issues with certain releases, as like, oh, like we own the rights to this. And it's like then some guy in like, I don't know, Botswana stands up and he's like, nope, I own the rights to this. And it's like yeah. So that's
they did it with Untold Story, didn't they? They managed to get the second one because that's classics, isn't it? Number 4, I think, Untold Story.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got the second one, but I got the first one, and that classic. I love that classics line.
Yeah, Untold Story is the 3rd one.
Okay.
It was Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, that's a cool one. So much fun, that movie.
The classics line it's all over the board. I mean, there's some stuff in their classics line that I have no clue why they released. They No Escape.
Yeah, and there was that Tokyo Decadence. It's definitely their when you think Unearthed, it's their softer line, definitely.
Really kind of is, but then they released something like, Promutos.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? It's definitely a unique sub-label. It's one I'm actually picking up every one as they come out, but I've got behind now.
It easily happens.
And unfortunately, they're up here, they're about $40 a piece. So, do I really want to pay $40 for full body massage?
Yeah, well, that's another thing when you get into the collecting. It's like I've only ever bought the movies that I like or I've been interested in because I'd financially be a mess if I, especially when these companies, if we put numbers on this stuff, people will buy them all.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to something with Vinegar Syndrome. Like if you get the subscription, you get everything.
My friend, well, that's the thing, you don't.
Well, you get
But
everything.
but they sub it, so you get 50% off, like the other stuff, because you get their subs. So that's something that they don't put everything in the package, but they put as much because the packages you get everything, which is the porn and all the standard Vinegar Syndrome releases, the VSA releases, I think, are in there and things like that. But then and then there's the one where it just drops the porn, but they're both over like $1,000, I think. But then, like I said, they do sub the price, but they also sub it for the partner labels as well.
Yeah.
So they really do put a lot of effort. I think I don't understand why other companies don't do subs. Yeah.
Why is it me?
Is it one of
Why
these
is it
things?
me?
Oh,
I have Mac, so Mac does these different things.
It's the weirdest thing.
Have you got an iPhone, Rob?
What's that?
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all Apple stuff. It does all this. I have this in meetings sometimes at work, and it will go off suddenly. You have all these balloons. I have this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, doing a presentation, and that happens.
totally like that court case where he's like, "Yes, I'm here. I'm live. I'm a cat."
Yeah, I'm not a cat. That's so good.
Oh, classic. But yeah, number 5, the unnameable.
Good choice.
Well, for my number 5, I figure we're going pretty good here. We're talking about a lot of movies that ended up getting beautiful, gorgeous releases that don't really deserve it. So why not keep up the trend? For my number 5, I'm going to pick The Hills Have Eyes Part 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is a movie, I can't help it. I actually really like this movie. I have a lot of fun with it. It's definitely got issues. It's got problems as far as the story goes, especially with, when you go back and you watch the original Hills Have Eyes, you hear the story about Papa Jupiter and, he had a sister, but where the hell did Reaper come from? So, and all this, where the hell this brother come from and all this kind of stuff. But, this movie, I watched it a lot as a kid and I just had fun. Both the original and this one, I will watch them, just a lot of times. And I had fun with it. I like the characters. The characters are just likable goofballs. You got some good bloody kills. It's always great to have Michael Berryman come back. I thought it was a really cool. I mean, this is before I ever saw Wait Until Dark or anything like that. So I thought the idea of, wait a minute, you got a woman who's blind and she's the hero of the movie, and I thought that was a really cool concept at the time. And I just had so much fun. And I thought that I love the action scene where, the two guys are chasing Michael Berryman through the desert on the dirt bikes and everything else. That was a fun action-packed scene. I had fun with that. I know everybody always keeps going to the dog has a flashback. Personally, I think that was just a case of Wes Craven's sense of humor. I mean, that's one thing. If you ever notice, even as grim and gruesome as a lot of his movies were, Wes Craven always had a sense of humor. You hear about commentaries all the time, even like on the remake of Hills Have Eyes, like when he and Peter Locke did their producer commentary for the remake of Hills Have Eyes, like they are just cracking jokes all the time. It's like when it was like in the they showed the Ruby character and stuff like that, and Wes made a joke. He's like, yeah, it's like I don't think they made her look ugly enough. And there was like, well, hell, I don't know. I date her. Or like on Deadly Blessing, that the part where there's the three women are seeing Sharon Stone and the two girls are sitting there having breakfast. And the moderator it says, hey Wes, I don't think this is a very believable situation that 3 gorgeous dolled up women are going to sit down having breakfast in lingerie. And Wes Craven was like, oh, I thought that was the point of movies, to show people things they don't see in real life.
Nice.
But I do. I have a lot of fun with this movie. I like some of the scenes. Some of the kills are good. I like the female lead. And just like the fact that they took this movie, that even Wes Craven himself later said, what the hell was I thinking? Like, I think he was just more, if I remember correctly, I think he was just trying to get this out to make a movie while he was getting Nightmare on Elm Street financed. So I think that was, I believe that's the situation at the time. So I think he was like, he just needed to get a movie made. So he needed to make some money. So they were just like, well, just do a sequel to Hills. And so this is where this came about. And even later on, even he said, like, what the hell was I thinking? But still, I like this movie. I have a lot of fun with it. And the fact that they took it, gave it a nice amount of bonus features. And just, really, you get, of course, like the nice hard box. You got the poster, the cool booklet, and everything else. And I just applaud this edition, so. And like I said, like, keep it with the theme of movies that don't seem like they deserve this kind of treatment. But yeah, I'm really glad that Aaron did do the work on this and really gave it this beautiful edition. So yeah, so my number 5 is going to have to be The Hills Have Eyes Part 2.
Nice.
All right. Nice. So movies that don't deserve their treatments. Okay. Right. Oh, I'll just show it.
Oh yeah.
This movie is so much fun. So much fun. But this is one of the things which drives people crazy with vinegar. Look at that lenticular.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the best lenticulars I've seen. It's so good. And I remember, like, when did I get this? Was it 2018 maybe? When they're having one of their sales, and I was clicking refresh, and the site came up like 4 or 5 minutes before they were meant to. And there was this, and there was Undertaker. They found some original slipcovers and managed to get, but it's like $17 each or something like that. Completely crazy. But then I remember there's loads of people moaning and blah 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 blah, and then after that they're extremely locked that they do it 1 minute past 12 now. Always their sales. Everyone's got to moan all the time. But yeah, this was such a fun release, and that lenticular artwork, but all the special features and just how good this movie looks. It was like, this is something that I think it was that you actually said a bit earlier, Lonnie. Not so much with this movie, but some of the movies we're getting, they're cleaned up so good. They're cleaned up where the original filmmakers, they're like, it doesn't matter about some of this stuff. No one's ever going to see it because we're filming on 16mm or whatever. The film quality is going to be terrible, and we're going to beat it straight to VHS. And it's like these companies, it's like some of these like directors must be like, oh no, not my movie. You can see all the stuff now in the background because they are so like clean and cleaned up to an insane level. But yeah, Shannon Elizabeth, one of her first movies, this one, if not her first movie, but not really going to say too much about that, but it's just one I was so proud when I managed to get this off the site. My collection was fairly small at that point, and to get one of the OG slipcovers, it was a super cool thing. So these 5 aren't in any particular order. There's just something about each one, and that's just a personal kind of victory for me was this release. So my number 5, Jack Frost.
Elizabeth in high definition is always a good thing.
Yeah, this is true. Very true.
Well, for number 4, I was thinking initially I was going to say something to the effect of, okay, well, let's take it back to a basic release. But I'll piggyback off of what you just said, a victory. because this one, as basic of a release as it is, was a tremendous victory for me. And you guys, I'm sure, will remember how big of a deal I made it, that I just happened to walk into the store at the right time, and I had been looking for this release forever. Funny to think, though, it was Anchor Bay didn't release this one until 2006, but the film came out in '94. And of course, it is the cover specifically, because with this particular film, in its later releases, the covers get a bit explicit. And, you know, it's hard for me to show things off when I got littles in the house. So I've always been on the hunt for this cover. And of course, it is McKaylee's Anchor Bay release of Cemetery Man. And I can't tell you how many times I'd go in there with the back of my mind, hoping and surely today's the day, and it not being the day. But one day I did go in there, and I'm telling you, when I saw this thing, when I just saw that I yanked this off the shelf about as fast as I've ever yanked anything off the shelf. And this is an incredible movie, and I do really need a better release of it, because this movie, I can't even imagine what this would look like in 4K. Do any of you have it in 4K?
I do. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't.
It's like, I was just like, my jaw hit the floor when I saw how beautiful it looks in 4K. It's an amazing release. Severn killed themselves on that one.
The tragedy in this is, you know, McKaylee could have really been the start of a new Italian boom if they would have realized what they had. You know, but by then, by '94, it was way past over, and I don't even know how he got this even made. But the fact he did get it made, and it is such an incredible visual experience. But I was lucky enough in this basic release, I did get a book in here, a small one. Not, you know, terribly incredible, but, you know, I think I probably spent $2.99 on it. Or maybe this might have been actually more of a $5.99. But for it to still be in there, being that it was used, is always an extra, and kind of an interesting little artwork on the disc itself.
Quite nice, honestly.
But, you know, I mean, it's just, and that's, you know, part of the joy of physical media too, is, you know, when you go so long hoping to find particular things and you don't, and then one day you do, it's such a, it's just, I mean, you can't, it's one thing if you find something on Amazon or you're pre-ordering something and it's a great thing and you can't wait to get it, you know, and everything. But when you're out actually spending time hunting through stores and, you know, you just come across that one thing, and this isn't the only time this has happened to me. I mean, it's happened to me a few times where I just could not, you know, you guys remember when I told you, you know, when I was able to finish off my Anchor Bay VHS trilogy of Evil Dead, you know, and Second and Charles, they're not even allowed to put VHS up, but the kids had, you know, saw it come in the basket. It has to be on the shelf. And so without even telling anyone, he just went ahead and put it up on the shelf. And I just happened to come around the corner at the right time. And man, I'm telling you, when I saw that thing, I'm like, oh my God, I just hit the freaking lottery. And he just happened to be a little ways down the aisle, and I must have made some sort of noise because he immediately turned and looked, and man, the smile on his face, he came down immediately and he was like, please tell me that's something you've been hunting for a long time. And I'm like, dude, I just finished the trilogy. I got the original film now. Now I've got the original Anchor Bay trilogy finally. And it wasn't, I mean, it was just a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about things that don't deserve to be. That there's no way that deserved to be, like, I think it was $1.99. Mint condition, hard shell. I mean, beautiful. And I'm like a 50-year-old little kid, just like, I mean, I can actually go buy, I can leave with it. And he's like, yeah, buddy, you can leave with it. He goes, I was going to take it home if it made it through the day, but I wanted to see if it'd make it through the day, and it didn't make it through the morning, because I yanked it. But Cemetery Man is another one. I was so glad to finally get this into my McKaylee collection, and eventually I'll get a better release of it. But I've always been fond of that cover, and to find it out in the wild, as they say, is always a little extra special when you come across. And I'm sure we all have our stories like that, but maybe if we think upon them, maybe we can end the show off of one good quick story that we found something out in the wild that was just precious to us. But so my number 4, McKaylee Sauvé's 06 Anchor Bay release of Cemetery Man.
Nice.
Mm.
My number 4 goes a bit different. We've been talking about like the movies that don't deserve to look as good as they do and everything. This is one that's just a damn good movie. That's Flowers.
Uh-huh.
Name Phil Stevens. This is essentially art house horror
Mm.
done through the lens of nastiness, and I have no problem with that at all. The basic plot, I don't even have a plot of this. Essentially, it's like, well, I guess where do murder victims go when they have the chance to choose? That's what this movie is. So everyone in it is already dead, and they're in kind of like a purgatory type thing. Really, really solid movie, and it's one that sticks with you after you've watched it. And there's something to be said for movies that can do that. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, if it sticks with you, you know what? It was probably a good movie. So yeah, number 4, Flowers, Phil Stevens.
He's announced that he's starting the 3rd one.
Is he finally going to get it done? Yeah.
Apparently, yeah. It's just starting, apparently, but there's funding for it now, or partial funding anyway. Well, that happens a lot with Phil Stevens, doesn't it? Partial funding.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, my turn. All right. So for my number 4, now we're like everybody else. We're getting away from the movies that don't deserve good releases, or getting away from that. It's like this one here is a good movie. I think deserves a really good release. I'm going with Creepshow 2.
Oh, nice.
I remember back in the day, I didn't really get the chance to choose because I remember they did the 2 cases. They had the blue. There was one like it was similar to this, but it was blue, and they had the red one. You got that one, okay?
Yeah.
Got that. I got the red one, but hey, I'm not complaining. But
It was exclusive to the UK store, I think. This one.
Oh, okay.
I think that's no other difference. Literally, just they had a thing on the website, and they did a vote whether it was turquoise or this mustardy yellow, and this was the one that won the vote.
Oh, okay. Well, I can live with the red, and that'd be fine with me. But yeah, I like Creepshow 2. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have that same punch as the first one, but still, it's really, really good. Me and my whole family, we went to go. Sadly, I never got to see the first Creepshow in the theater, but we did go to see this one in the theater, so that was a fun experience going to watch this. And just, that Arrow gave some love, and you get the bonus features on there too. And at the time, before I got this, I had the DiviMax DVD. I thought that was, the Anchor Bay DiviMax DVD. I had that. I was like, it's never going to get any better than this. And then this came along. I got this. So, and I was just so thrilled to get this, and just and so happy that they gave this movie so much love. And and I love this too. Look at the booklet. It even looks like one of the Creepshow comics.
Yeah.
That's
And,
all.
George and Stephen there and everything else. You even get the comic of the one story that was left out. You know,
Mm.
that was so cool and everything else. Just yeah, just oh man. And then too, you get the beautiful like original cover poster and all that stuff, and just this was so awesome. And then I just thought that was so great that they give this so much love. And then a little bit later on, then Scream Factory, did the beautiful hard box for the first one. So it was like, man, it's so nice to have both Creepshow 1 and 2 in these beautiful collector's editions, and great films. In my opinion, they deserve that treatment. And just
Yeah.
have fun with the stories. I really do. I have fun with the stories, like Old Chief Woodenhead, The Raft. I mean, I think we all say The Raft was a pretty damn good story. And
Mm.
the picture, as a matter of fact, I can't show you guys, but I got a tattoo on my chest I'm not kidding. I literally got a tattoo on my chest that says "Thanks for the ride, lady," and that was from Creepshow 2.
Nice.
Perfect.
I was getting a tattoo one day. I was like, I want something from Creepshow and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, they hit me. It's like, oh, thanks for the ride, lady, and all that stuff. So if I ever get another girlfriend, that tattoo's gonna have a But anyway, so yeah. So for my number 4, it's gonna have to be Creepshow 2. Just I love this. It's such a beautiful edition. I'm so happy that I got this. So that's my number 4.
Yeah, awesome. Great release. Right, so I am going to jump onto what's called a VSA. So with what Vinegar Syndrome, they say themselves, so Vinegar Syndrome Archive. So the Vinegar Syndrome Archive sublabel celebrates forgotten cinematic odysseys from the era of the video store era. This collection was inspired by our own brick and mortar video stores with locations in Bridgeport, Aurora, and Toronto. So we've heard the term vanity project, and John DeHart is someone that I hadn't heard of before, but I definitely knew who he was after Champagne and Bullets. Have any of you gentlemen watched this movie?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh my word. Oh my word. This movie, he is like, we don't have a real good picture of him. No, you can't really see him on the back, but he is this all action super stud hero in this movie. And like, we have a lot of sex scenes, which obviously he wrote these very specific for himself. We have a completely coked out of his head Wings Hauser in this movie. It's an utter car crash amazement that is so entertaining. This was one of the ones which went out of print, I think, in the weekend that it was released, and I was like, everyone's buying this film. This sounds a bit crazy. Oh, Lonnie's fallen. I was like, I've got to pick this movie up, and wow. If you get a chance to watch it streaming or something, you have to. You can't quite believe this movie, and it's just so funny without trying to be funny. There's musical numbers in this that he's singing. At one point during the sex scene, he's really into the sex scene. So he's got this champagne glass, he's putting it on the table. You see this hand come out of nowhere because he can't get it on the table and just take it from him and put it down. It's like, wow, such a movie. But this is one of these sub-labels that they do. And these are just movies that, I mean, what I have no idea. So he paid for this movie. He wrote this movie, produced this movie, directed this movie, and everything. And from that point of view, it's pretty incredible. But to get a release like this of something like that is just crazy. And it's, I only know Vinegar Syndrome that does that. You don't have any of these other labels. I don't want to sound like derogatory, but deep diving that low into these films which have been made that no one's ever heard of. And now I'm quite proud and honoured to say that we're we are connected on LinkedIn together, if you know what that is. it's the website. So yeah, he's on LinkedIn, and I am connected to him on that. And you should see this list of accolades that this guy has, and it's of course movie star, producer, director, something to do politics as well. It's like wow. So brilliant movie. If you get the chance, please do watch this. And oh, what's his name? He has this gravelly voice. Can't remember. There's a couple of faces that you will recognize from this. So I don't know how he got Wings Hauser. I offer him like a massive bag of coke, and it's like, come on mate, you can take it while you're on set, and he went for it. So yeah, this is number 15 from the Vinegar Syndrome Archive Collection. That's my number 4.
Nice.
Crazy movie.
And you probably, even if you wanted to, you probably couldn't find that anywhere to stream, could you?
I imagine that someone's ripped it and put it on there now. But yeah, it's only Vinegar Syndrome that had this. I don't know how many copies there were. There's quite, for something like this, I think there's maybe 5,000 copies or something that disappeared in the space of a weekend or something. It doesn't. 6,000 units.
Here, download. I've just actually downloaded it. Torrent.
Nice. Oh, you'll have so much fun with this. You won't quite believe it. And like I said, when there's one of the sex scenes when he has the champagne and he's very preoccupied, and you just see someone's hand just come out and take it. I was howling watching that with one of my friends. So good.
Man, sounds great.
All right, you ready for number 3?
Let's go.
Well, this is the last of my sort of bare bones releases, sort of, but not really. But it does mark the first time I've ever owned this film. It is one of my all-time favorite slashers of all time, and I'll never forget the first time I saw this on VHS way back in the day. And this movie just stayed with me forever. And the first time that Anchor Bay put this out under the Dario Argento collection, I probably, went and grabbed it as fast as I could. And that is, of course, Opera. This movie is just so freaking, just the whole opera setting of it all, the heavy metal music, which I always do not understand. A lot of times you'll listen to, podcasts if they're dealing with opera, and they always seem to have an issue with the heavy metal music in the film. I've never had an issue with that. I freaking love it. In fact, one of my favorite scenes in Shocker is when during that one chase scene where that one heavy metal music kicks in. To me, it felt like sort of a nod back to the Dario days, and when they were using heavy metal music to heighten the sense of these scenes, but not the the most grand, but still, I mean, back when I first got this, I mean, to have this movie in my collection for the very first time, was pretty sweet. But this was just the beginning of everything that was going to come down the pike eventually. Even though my last 2 were pretty stellar releases for what they put in there, Opera just really represents the building of my Italian collection. And that was what Anchor Bay did so well, is they got you things for the first time before other people eventually would get it. And I kind of wish I had the entire Dario Argento collection, but now let's see, what was that edition of this movie that came out that was, I don't know if it was 4K, but there was quite a incredible release of this that wasn't out very long before it went out of print. You guys remember what that one? It sort of had this artwork going on, but it was like a huge package thing.
Wasn't it like a purple artwork? Wasn't it like
Maybe.
a Blu-ray Severan's Blu-ray, I think.
Was it? Was it them?
Yeah, maybe Severin. Yeah, because they had a 4 or 5 disc Blu-ray a couple of years ago that went pretty fast.
Yeah, and I miss that. Yeah, someday I'll have a sweet edition of this. But I do have the who put out the Blu-ray?
Scorpion.
Yeah, I do have that, which was felt like a bit of a jump up from the DVD. Not quite as incredible as this last release that just came out, but hopefully, if I'm lucky enough, it'll hang around long enough, and I'll be able to snag it at some point. But
Was it this one?
yes,
Yeah.
Ronin Flicks version.
Ronin Flicks.
yeah, and that went out pretty quick, didn't it?
I hear it says, was it Scorpion and Ronin together? Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, it's 3 disc set. Yeah. So yeah, that's the one that disappeared. Yeah, I remember that going quickly.
Yeah, I miss that. And same with
$45 on eBay.
What's that?
$45 on eBay. That's kind of what it was when it was new.
Yeah.
I guess it's because Severin have got the 4K now. So
yeah.
Still though, I wonder, is it brand new or used?
It's actually on eBay and it's Grindhouse Video selling it. So it's brand new.
Ooh.
So you could go maybe straight to the. So yeah, I guess that's Grindhouse Tampa. You could go direct.
And that's isn't that the ever? It's always that tension, right? Of you get a release of one of your favorite movies, and then eventually, a better release of it comes down the pike, and sometimes you're able to grab it. Sometimes, you miss it, and I know Glenn has his copy there, but I'll never forgive myself for missing out on the coffin set of the Tombs of the Blind Dead set.
Oh, yeah.
And whoever has that, I know Derek has his copy of that, and I know Glenn has his. And do you guys have it, or?
I found it out in the wild, and it had the guy, he was getting the discs, and 2 of them were missing. So it's like I didn't grab it. Maybe I should have done and tried to source the other 2 discs now from somewhere, but it was
thankfully those Blue Underground discs are still out there, because I was able to a couple Christmases ago. I had some Christmas money, so I got the first 3, and then I picked up Seagulls on the Scream Factory released it with the Nashi Cast commentary track. So it's not the coffin set, but it's still the whole set. So is
the coffin set 5 discs? There's like an extras disc or something. Yeah.
But Glenn was nice enough to give me the weren't you the one that sent me that 10-minute doc? I
think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I have that. I still have that. I watch it every once in a while. Yeah, it's good. Some good stuff. A lot of stuff we're mentioning here. All right, so number 3, opera. I can't wait for number 2. I cannot wait for number 2. But go ahead.
Okay, number 2. Before there was Art the Clown, there was Gertie the Clown. Tears. Again, I'm directed by Marcus Cook. Marcus Cook's actually a really good director. People think of him for his effects work, and he does really good effects, but he does some good directing as well. And this is definitely one. Now, this particular DVD, I don't know whether this is just me, but I have a bit of a problem with mine. I put in, it doesn't always start. I don't know if it's just my copy or whether that's a pressing problem. I don't know. But apparently, the Blu-ray is going to be happening of this. I've heard.
Cool.
Apparently, I guess they've got the stuff sorted so that it actually is going to happen soon, I hope, because this is something people need to rediscover. let's put it this way. That sleeper he's holding,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's not just for marketing. That side of the, and he wipes people out, and it's good. It
It's
really
brutal.
is. It's phenomenal. It's and you can't. How can I put this? Gertie the Clown, I think, if he existed, he would have like had sex with Annie Wilkes, and the kid would have been Art the Clown. Damn it, that's how it would have been. I honestly believe that. So good, and honestly, if you haven't seen 100 Tears, do yourself a favor and see it. It's a blast. Everyone loathes the clown. It says so right on the top. You know, like you can't tell me when you look at that, like that doesn't remind you of like John Wayne Gacy.
Mm.
No, it's so good though. 100
You know,
Tears victory.
I think the only thing more terrifying than that, or Art the Clown, is if actually somebody would use a Ronald McDonald from the 1920s.
Oh,
Because I'm telling you, that is pretty terrible. I don't know how kids got into that junk back then, because that is some scary freaking crap, man.
that's a nightmare for me.
Ronald McDonald from the freaking 1920s. That is freaking frightening.
Oh, man.
That's some scary freaking right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So for my number 3, continuing with George Romero in Arrow, I think you guys already know which one this one is. It's the Between Night and Dawn box set. This has his 3 movies. Yeah, There's Always Vanilla, Season of the Witch, and The Crazies. And I was so blown away by this. I did have the years back. I think it was Anchor Bay. They did the DVD for Season of the Witch, and it was, if I remember, it was a flipper disc. Like side A was Season of the Witch, side B was There's Always Vanilla, and but just the idea that and like the transfer on there wasn't really the best and everything, and then the fact that like here comes Arrow, and they're like, man, we're gonna put these out really nice editions and stuff like this. We're gonna put load them up with bonus feature. Even There's Always Vanilla, for crying out loud. Look at all that. It's not a good movie. Even in Romero's own interview, he said it was just, he just wanted to do something different, just something that wasn't a horror film. And he didn't write the script. He said, I didn't have it. It was just like a job. It was just doing a job. I didn't really have any passion for the project. I didn't create it. I didn't write it. I had no love for it. It was just trying to do something that wasn't a horror film. So I tried to do a love story and all this kind of stuff. And the fact that they even got it to look as good as it did, I'm going to be shocked if they even try to do this as a 4K. I can't see them doing it. I don't think this would hold up as a 4K, and honestly, I don't think this one would either.
Yeah.
The elements really blend for 4K, but then again, I don't know. Brand new 4K restoration. Okay, this is 2K restoration. But this is the one movie, because Romero always said if he could ever remake one of his movies, it would have been Season of the Witch. I really wish he had had that opportunity. I would like to see what he could have done with a little more time, a little more money, and kind of really make the movie he originally set out to make. Season, it's fine. I mean, I don't mind it. I can definitely watch it. It's a good movie.
No, that has some creepy moments.
It does. It really does. And I thought that was kind of an interesting idea. The idea that this woman's like, she's using witchcraft as like a way to just kind of deal with, I guess the patriarchy. I guess what they would call them nowadays. But yeah, just I will say, I guess one good thing about There's Always Vanilla, if you ever watch Night of the Living Dead and you're always wondering what Judy Ridley looks like naked, you'll find out watching this.
Well,
And of course, I mean, come on, The Crazies. You know, The Crazies is a good one. You know, it's really good too. But the original The Crazies, you know, this one too is a 4K restoration and all those bonus features as well. So, and just I thought that was so nice. And you know, thank God, finally, thanks to Second Sight, we got Martin, and just that my heart the other day when they were talking about. I was watching a YouTube video. They were talking about why have we not got a 4K yet for Day of the Dead? Apparently, the film is lost, so they can't do the transfer until they find a film print of it. So that's nice.
Oh.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I was so happy, and you could tell I've had this for some years. It's got a little bit of damage on the box, but oh well. But it's very well loved. But I was just so happy that they took these Romero films that most people would probably just not give a damn about. Well, maybe the Crazies, because you know Blue Underground did a Blu-ray of it years back, but
is that the only one that you can get out that set? Crazy. The other two are locked to the set. I think Crazies you can get.
Season of the Witch and the Crazies. I got both of them in my collection.
Okay.
Yeah, and
you know, just as somebody who adores George Romero, I love George Romero ever since I was a kid, and you know, and as much as I want to try to have all of his movies and stuff like this, so this was just, you know, this has always been a treasure in my collection, and just to have them in as beautiful condition as it's probably ever going to get, but still, so yeah, so for number 3, Between Night and Dawn, the George Romero collection, that's it for me.
You know, I haven't revisited the Crazies in a little bit, but I've been to Evans City, and the town there where they filmed that, and you know, and I've, you know, you could tell where the camera was looking in, you know, into the center of the town, and it seems to me, it just seems to me off the top of my head, I have to go back and rewatch that movie, but it seems like there's the one shot where if you're looking down the road far enough, there's a point where you can take a left and turn, and I'm pretty sure that's the road. If you just take up, that's the road that takes you up to the cemetery.
Probably.
Yeah, because I've been up there a few times too, and seen that cemetery, but it's always kind of weird going through the town. At least one small section of it where you remember, this was the Crazies. You know, that's so freaking cool. Freaking George.
Nice. Okay, I'll try and do this a little quicker because I'm seeing how long we've been on, and you guys are going to start getting tired. It's all right for me. I'm waking up, but not for you, gents.
Well, I'm still going to be up for a while.
Oh yeah, you're right. We can just carry on.
Well, he's still got a couple of movies to watch tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned that now there's this collaboration with MGM that Vinegar Syndrome have, and someone mentioned earlier in the chat H.P. Lovecraft. So I thought I would introduce Stuart Gordon on 4K. So the From Beyond, sorry. And this is one of the artists I wanted to talk about. So this is the Dude Designs, Tom Hodge, and I love that they had that there's a collaboration of artists that they use, and he's been around. He's been doing quite a few things for Vinegar Syndrome now. Off the top of my head, he's done this, he's done Ticks, he's done Six String Samurai. But it's quite sad that he actually, on his Facebook page, he made a post, and he's saying that because there's been some changes within Vinegar Syndrome, and now there's a new person in charge of distribution and that they decided that they've parted ways, that they decided that they would not use Tom Hodge anymore, which is a great shame because I just feel that his style fits Vinegar Syndrome very well within certain titles that they have, and I've always loved this one. This would make a great poster. I love the artwork on this, and like I said, it's in glorious 4K. I still have not opened yet, and I've had this for so long now. I really, really, really do need to watching this because I was so happy when this got released. I had the Second Sight mentioning Second Sight again. Don't go on their website, because I did it the other day and accidentally the Hitcher 4K limited edition set jumped into my basket and somehow I pressed pay. So now I have that coming. So don't go on their website. Bad things happen. But yeah, it's a beautiful release, and I'm sure it's going to look stunning. It's the one company I have pure faith in, because I've not heard of any recalls of Vinegar Syndrome stuff. They seem to take their, I think, smaller, less pressure. I know we know, like with Scream Factory being a Shout Factory engine that it's in, Arrow now owned by Xavi and stuff like that. I think that their schedules and their release times can be moved around and can be shorter, and they've got to get stuff out within certain times. And I'm pretty sure with Vinegar Syndrome, they have mentioned in the past it's not ready. It just gets pushed back until it is ready. So they have a little bit more time. I was going to say being smaller, they're growing and growing and growing all the time, but they still manage to keep that kind of, that little bit of, not integrity, but I do feel like I love Arrow. Arrow is the baby that I started with, but I feel that they've lost a little bit of their soul. They are now this bigger company, and the main guy, I can't remember his name. He left Arrow and he's Radiance Films. He does his own line now, and Arrow is not what it was, but I still love that company. It will always be one of my favorites. But the heart and soul of physical media distribution really does live very strong with. I'm not going to look there now. Joe Rubin. I always remember Joe Rubin, and sorry, I always forget the name. But with those two, I really feel it lives strong. So, From Beyond is my number 3.
My number 2. First time, I remember, I'll never forget, first time I saw this movie. I don't know if, I must have learned about it in Fango or something. Me and my buddy, it's one of the first movies I remember getting stoned and watching this movie for the first time. I thought I was going to go to the hospital. I was laughing so hard. I was in tears. I remember falling off the couch. Just, I thought I was going to die. Because what I was watching, I could not process how bonkers, how crazy. I see the movie a little differently today, but when I was a kid, when you're a teenager, sometimes you see these things, and especially if you're seeing it from through a certain lens. This movie about put me in the freaking hospital, and it is the only tin I have in my collection, and it is a beauty. And I wish I had more, but Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2. I've got the Anchor Bay VHS of this as well. I've got it on blue. What I don't have is 4K yet for some odd reason, but this tin, man, like I mentioned, media play. I wish I would have known that those tins, once they left, you'd never get them back again. For the most part. But really, really, really nice book in here. I'll just gotta flip it real quick. I mean, just really, really. I mean, this might have been the heyday of just some of the better, Anchor Bay releases, where they really just put a lot of effort into it. I've had this thing forever in my collection, but nice little card with the thing in there.
Tell you what, that's something I miss. I miss the cards that had like the stuff on the back, the chapter like type thing.
Maybe the most iconic cover though was just that, and God, that of course, the video game, right, that came out. But this is going to be really weird, but this thing still has it still has that weird smell that takes you back. Like, you know, I mean, it's not much to look at inside, but it just has that smell that just takes you back to those weird days when you started buying things. And of course, you know, the disc itself. And but this is such a I think is, I mean, and Lonnie, you have a couple tins, right?
Yeah.
Which ones did you have?
I have the Beyond and Evil Dead 2.
God,
Yeah.
the Beyond, holy crap. But this is so cool to have in my collection, and I can't even remember where I picked this up at, but I thought, you know, I just love the artwork is so cool on this. And you know, you guys have any of the tins?
No.
No.
And I don't even pull this out of here often to watch this particular version or this release. I usually just throw the Blu-ray in, but this this movie, man, yeah, this is and this is, I mean, this is Anchor Bay. That's Anchor Bay, man, at their freaking height of just putting out freaking awesome stuff. And even today, I think just having something like this in your collection is, you know, um, great audio commentary with Sam and Bruce and Scott Spiegel and Greg Nicotero. And of course, I think it also has the Gore the Merrier featurette, which is a pretty darn good documentary. But yeah, it even has a number on it. I don't know what it means exactly, but I'm sure they only made limited copies of them. But I have noticed, though, if you go on eBay, you can still find these things. And I don't recall them being that outrageously priced either. Like,
I don't think so. I mean,
so
They're DVD, aren't they?
yeah.
I think that's what it. I think if they were Blu-ray, even though we have 4K, I think the Blu-ray would still be more sought after.
So yeah, one of those films I have a lot of, but I probably treasure my Anchor Bay VHS and that tin of that particular movie more than. Lonnie, do you know offhand if they put out the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness in the tin?
Not in the tins. No, it was just Evil Dead 2. I think they it was maybe like an even dozen. I know that they did Evil Dead 2, they did The Beyond, they did Heathers, Maniac, Hellraiser, Halloween 4 and 5, let's see, Blacktop, let's see, what else? Candy, Wicker. They did that box, you know, for the Wicker Man, you know. Well, I don't remember what else there was, but yeah, they're.
Yeah. I don't know which scene in there was that drove me off the edge, but it was probably that great moment where he kept hitting himself with everything, and you know, and just absolutely freaking bonkers. And that movie still is still great today to watch.
But you guys remember, like years back, you know, for a time there, you know, people were saying, you know what, the commentary on Evil Dead 2 is the best commentary ever. Like, it is the best commentary of anyone that's ever been done. You know, it's like, yo, if you ever get a chance, you have to listen to the Evil Dead 2 commentary. It's the fun, the best, and all that kind of stuff. And it is. It's one of the best commentaries.
It is, and you know, generally speaking, I would rather just listen to one person talk. But that's one of the rarities of commentaries that I enjoy all of them because they all just sort of mesh in well. And of course, Greg is always fun to listen to, and you know, and so
Campbell's always hilarious.
Yes, yes.
I just checked on eBay right now. They're anywhere from like $11 up to like they have some for $89, but I don't think anyone would pay that for them. And there were 50,000 made.
Okay.
I remember those limited numbers were huge.
Was the thing back in the day, you know, a limited edition was like 50,000 copies. You know, that's that.
And then today you get like this at 6,000.
Yeah. I mean,
some of the partner label. When was it? This was 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000 copies. I mean, you
Wow.
can. It's not just that movie is 2,000 bang done. It's just the limited set. And this is the good thing that you do get now. It's like the disc is the same. It's not that you get a downgraded version of the disc or anything. The content on the disc is identical, so it's literally just the packaging. So it's such a huge thing. If like you love the movie, you want the movie, you don't get it straight away. It doesn't matter. Everything is on that disc.
Yeah.
I was say because like when I got the Sadness, that's all I was able to get was the standard edition. But it's like you say, the movie's there, the bonus features are there.
Yeah, everything.
All I
And
don't
that's
get.
funny because that's all three of us. Do all four of us have a different version of it? Because I know I got the German media book, 4K.
I got the one that came through Horror Pack.
I just got the standard 4K, and we saw
Yeah,
James'
so isn't that amazing? All four of us have a different,
version of the same
and it
movie.
usually takes a long time for that to sort of evolve. But
Yeah.
that was like snapshot. It was like, oh, we got it here. Oh, we got it here. It is. Oh, we got it here. It is.
Yeah, Europe was releasing it. Well, different countries seem to be. The rights were sold to a few places apparently.
Is it Raven Banner? Is that the
Raven Banner is
That's the Canadian one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have two of their movies. Two because I've got to show you quickly. I'm sorry.
You know,
Raven Banner. They're a big company.
They had a little bit of slipcover fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's such an amazing cover.
That is
That's
gorgeous.
movie. It really is so fun.
that's not the cover art you saw in Walmart.
Oh, hell no.
I'm gonna kind of cover my finger a little bit with this, but this is just phenomenal artwork.
That autopsy of Jane Doe.
Yeah, I love that movie so much. It's such a good movie. The tension in that movie is just unrivaled. In modern cinema, I think, like in the past 15 years, so much tension, because it's not like it's a tension scene. It's throughout, and it just builds and builds and builds. Brilliant. Sorry, I just had to show you them. Such cool releases. Look at that. That's just brilliant. So cool.
Well, I thought I was getting something really special with my German media book, but it don't have the commentaries or anything. It's just, it really doesn't have anything on there except for a doc, I think, but I mean, it has a wonderful book in here, but it's in German. I can't read it.
All these bonus features.
See, so I thought I was getting something really special. I mean, it is. It's nice to have, and it's solid. I mean, the material. I mean, it is nice, and it looks beautiful. I mean,
this has there's the feature audio commentary with director Rob Yabaz and medical advisor Shu. Then there's a new feature audio commentary with film critic Simon Abrams. Then there's a new feature audio commentary with director Rob Yabaz and composers Chiza. Checha. C-sharp. I'm butchering that name. So there's three different ones, two with a director with different people. That's interesting.
That is. Isn't that amazing? In such a short span of time, this movie got so much attention, so much treatment.
Yeah.
And, just the fact all four of us have a different copy of it is interesting.
It exploded.
Yeah.
Well, that trailer alone.
Well, and it helped too that Rue Morgue had it on its cover too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was nice. All right, who's up?
Clinton is up.
I'm up. Okay. My number 2 is a movie that is a very hard watch, but it's a movie I think everyone should see. That is Black Sun, the Nanking Massacre, otherwise known as Men Behind the Sun 3 or 4.
4.
Yeah. Basically, this shows the rape of Nanking, as they call it. You know, during the Japanese occupation in World War II. What this movie does is it shows you really well what happens when you stop seeing the enemy as people and you just see them as the enemy. I mean, you know, I don't know what to say. It's such a powerful film, and it's so
well made.
It is. I mean, it's a genuinely great film, but it's one of those ones. It gets lumped in with exploitation films because, yeah, you know, it is exploitation. But
I think it's because the first one as well.
Yeah,
I think
this is the better movie, honestly. I really do. You know,
it's a proper movie.
Yeah. Part one is what it is, but Black Sun is, like I said, everyone growing up should have to see this film. It will make you think differently about things, you know? It, like, could you imagine, like, if say you were joining the army and the first thing you did when you signed up, they showed you this. And they said, just to say, like, you know, this is a warning. This is what can happen if you go too far. You know? It's a great movie, but it's a very rough watch.
Yeah.
There's some really...
So do they utilize any stock footage, any real footage, or is it all just...
What they do, which is kind of interesting, like this scene on the front here, they show this scene in the movie, and then they cut to the photo of the actual event, because it was like taken for like a newspaper. You know, you got the actual guy there with his sword. He's gonna take his hat off, whatever. And then it cuts back to the movie and everything. It's powerful. And this movie is something special, I honestly believe. So that's why it's at number 2.
Right.
And
yeah, it's a powerful movie. We all know what the first one is. And like Massacre Video released the 3, and I went and bought the 3 straight away. I like the first one. The second one is just a poor remake, really, of the first, and the third one is just, I really didn't enjoy that movie. So I actually I sold 2 and 3. I was like, someone else will like these, but I kept the first, and I've had that for a long time, and that is the best one.
maybe you can tell me. There's a scene in this where these Japanese soldiers are taking eggs and rubbing them all over their faces. Why were they rubbing eggs on their faces? Is there a legit reason, or is it just something weird that they did in World War II?
I don't know. No, I don't. It's been a few years since I've seen it. Obviously, there's very certain scenes that stick in your head, but I don't remember the eggs.
Yeah.
I don't know what the reason would be behind that.
Wiping it all over their face. I don't know.
I wonder
What was
if
their
it has
reaction when
anything
they were doing it?
I don't know this for sure, but I wonder if it has anything to do with a sort of prep for some sort of chemical attack, or
I don't know.
I wonder if something about the egg helped protect the
Well, how this is, there isn't chemical attack in this or anything, like how it's, because it's the soldiers that are doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just kind of like, it's like they've got off duty, and so they get some eggs and they put them on their face.
Were they drunk? I can't remember. Were they drunk or something? I can't remember it.
I think they were just getting off duty, and it was like, okay, I guess we're gonna go like party or whatever. Put on the egg. I don't know if it's a legit scene, but they're just like on like the beach with the flamethrowers. You know the scene.
Oh yeah, that's a crazy scene.
I don't know if that's legit footage or if that was done for the movie. It's a very strong scene.
Now I remember watching this it was years ago when I was living in the UK, and I made a horrendous connection with that because it was after. So I watched this movie, but in the UK, so there was an issue with BSE, and that spread through livestock. I know there's a few years, like 2 years in the UK, where you wouldn't see any cattle, you wouldn't see any sheep in fields or anything. But I remember driving once, and it was on the motorway, and there's this huge stretch. It was like a few 100 meters just lined up of dead cattle, and they were just burning them. And I remember the smell. It's like this crazy barbecue. It's just really weird. And then when I saw that film, I made that horrendous connection because I was like watching it. I was like, the smell of that must just be so intense. It was like horrifying thought. Because I was like, it was crazy just seeing them, but they just slaughtered and burning all this cattle because they couldn't risk it spreading anymore. And so it's just a cult. It's like dead without thought, burnt without thought. And this movie has that. They're not people. Dead without thought, just burn them.
Yeah,
That stuff
it's
horrendous. What happened?
That stuff gets lost a lot today. You know, so much of what we watch is so sanitized in that way because you don't think about it. Like, even if you remember the when in The Walking Dead, when Rick and them first approached the CDC, the whole area is just littered with dead bodies. There's no way you're going to get from your cars to the CDC in that short span without vomiting all over the place and just being overwhelmed by the sense of putridness and just the smell. And yet, you know, it's kind of like I've been, when I was in the Army, I'd been out at Death Valley on training, for a month. And I know what it's like for just to be in a dust storm that kicks up real quick. And how many movies do you watch where people will just be in a dust storm just talking like it's nothing? You can't do that. I know. I've been in one. You can't, because that stuff is everywhere. It's in your mouth and you're going up your nose and your eyes and, all the sand, and you're doing everything you can to just cover up. And, but like, yeah, it's just, I mean, so that's kind of interesting that you picked up on that, and the beach scene with the flamethrowers.
Yeah, it's stuff that you just don't notice. It's not glorified in movies, but it doesn't go into any detail, any attention, because the amount of death we see in horror, it's just part of it.
Can you still buy that? Is that in print?
I don't think it's out of print.
I think there's still copies floating around.
Yeah, eBay. Like, it'll be that sort of thing. They might have it. They had it not so long ago on the Unearthed site.
That's actually where I got it, mine.
Yeah.
Take a look here.
I've had that. That was one of my first Unearthed movies. I think I got many years ago.
Oh.
It was I remember on eBay. I bought that and a bouquet of Guts and Gore. It was like the two movies sold together. DVD, both.
Interesting.
Let's see, they have the limited edition online, which is a different version of this. Has essentially the cover is
still DVD, isn't it? The limited one.
The DVD.
Yeah.
It's a different cover, but great movie. So, $30. Honestly, that's not bad.
Yeah, for what it is. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, Lonnie.
It's a horror comedy now.
Let's see. I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to do for my number 2, so I'm going to have to do this as kind of a tie. So for my number 2, I'm going to have to do Reanimator. and Reanimator. So just these are amazing additions and just great movies. And they are funny, you know. They got and there you got that crazy, thing that Herbert West just these additions are crazy. Look at all that, the big fat there, everything.
Golly.
And tissue injection.
Open it up, you got your movies there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
just,
just have the slimmed down edition of that, but
yeah, Reanimator. All three Reanimators are great movies and a lot of fun, and and then the one,
Reanimator have integral cut in on it.
yeah,
it does.
I don't know what that is exactly. I mean, I know it's like a longer cut, right?
a longer cut. This one was 86 minutes. The integral cut's 105. Available in the U.S. for the first time.
It's shifted around some of the scenes as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
what are we talking? Are we talking Bride or Reanimator?
The original.
The first one.
Yeah. And then this one here, you got a comic book with it, and you get comic books with both of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, just all the love and attention that they put into, these movies. Just, wow. You got that there.
And I need to upgrade mine.
You can get Bride, but that first one is very out of print.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that edition, and it came. I'll show you the corner.
I think you could put Steelbook, but I think that's only like one disc.
So yeah, I have the same, but look at the corner. So which corner is it? See, it came a bit bashed.
Oh yeah.
It's only a small thing, but I complained to Amazon. They gave me my money back, and just keep it because I was like, look, I've got this limited edition. I'm a collector. It's bashed. Can you send me a new one? And they're like, we don't have any more. It's sold out. So we got refund and just keep it. So for free.
Wow, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
I'm kind of curious though. It's 4K restoration, so I wonder how long we're gonna have to wait before the 4K for these come out. And
Let me tell you, it wasn't a few trips ago to CD Warehouse. I came across the Arrow, not that one, but the probably the standard release Arrow put out for Bride, and God, that movie, I freaking love that movie. I love that movie so much. That is such a freaking.
I think the only thing I'm disappointed in is don't get me wrong, I'm glad that we got Beyond Reanimator from Vestron Collection, but I was kind of really wishing that Arrow could have gotten that one. And they did do it.
This was a limited glow-in edition, glow in the dark cover. So the green things glow in the dark, and it's got this foil kind of thing. I think you can. That sold fast, but I think you can still get just.
You can still get it. I saw it on Amazon just the other day.
Yeah, but probably not with a slip. It's sold fast with a slip.
Just so you know, the limited edition of Reanimator that you got there, Lonnie, is currently going for $234.98.
Oh,
it's on. And Bride, let me take a look.
Bride, you see it more often on eBay. Bride.
Let's take a look. It's $194.95 on Amazon.
Gone up a lot then.
Yeah.
What about this one?
What I'm thinking.
Beyond, so it's with the foil.
I saw that one on Amazon for only $20, but like you said, it probably doesn't come with the slip.
Yeah, you can see it has this foil, and like I say, it glows in the dark as well. All the green.
I do like the slip covers that Arrow does. They do some nice ones.
It's saying you can get it for $12.64 on Amazon UK.
Yeah, it's still in the Amazon store. It's not sold out. It's just the slip sold out.
I don't know about the slip. I mean, probably you'd have to.
That's one thing I wish they did. I wish they were a little bit more detailed in terms of, you're not getting the slip, or you're still getting the slip. I mean, I wish they were a little bit more.
Grindhouse states that. Grindhouse Tampa and Vinegar Syndrome state that. You can see where if you're buying a slip or without, and it says slip sold out, standard version, but Grindhouse does it.
One thing I appreciate, like a lot of times when they put like vinegar, they're going to sell Vinegar Syndrome titles to Amazon. It's like when you read the description, it will tell you, it's like this is not, the limited edition. This is a standard edition, no slip case. At least it lets you know what you're getting. It tells you this is the standard edition. So, yeah, it's nice when they do it. Vinegar Syndrome titles.
I was pretty lucky. I found that at CD Warehouse, and I think they only wanted. God, I don't know if I still have the price in here. No, but it's I don't know. It was probably 30 some dollars, but the book was still in there.
So first pressing.
And actually, the price might be. How much? I think.
You get that with the Arrow ones. So even the standard ones, the first pressings have the books.
20.
And
I paid.
They don't have the books afterwards.
I paid $29.99. For this, but I bought this in a store.
I got this on eBay for £15 several years ago. And so, yeah, that was 15. That was free. And then I think this was like the most expensive, £18 when it was released on the Arrow site. So that's the most expensive.
Anyway, so to wrap up, that's going to be my number 2. It has to be a tie, both Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator.
Nice. So everyone who's watching this knows, if you want the integral cut of Reanimator, it is on the second site release, the new second site release.
Oh, okay.
Aha. Cool.
It's good to know.
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to dive into, let's see what Vinegar Syndrome say about this. So this is a VSP, Vinegar Syndrome Pictures. Oh, they don't say anything about this one. So these are ones where it's not just about the restoration. So there was this movie from the 80s. So I think it's Johnny Liu. Is it Johnny Liu? The main actor and the director from the movie. Johnny Liu. So this was in production. The company that was producing it went bust, and it was never finished. It was only filmed, storyboards gone, everything gone, just had this film. So Vinegar Syndrome picked this up, got a director, they got cast members from, obviously when they do a lot of their movies, they do all the restorations, they do all these commentaries, so they get all the people involved, they do all these features, so then they get like a working relationship with them, so they basically revoiced this movie. So redid the script for it, revoiced it. They got Don Wilson, Michael Berryman, Cynthia Rothrock, Linnea Quigley, Ginger Lynn. They've got all these different people, and then they basically redid New York Ninja. So like I said, so that it's not like they didn't do enough work already. So then it's like, right, so there's this film which is just film, and so they kind of redid the whole story, redid the narrative, and they went above and beyond. So there's a magnetic clasp booklet. You open up, and here we go. I love New York Ninja. Tell you what, if you haven't seen a ninja with roller skates on, watch this movie. It's crazy again. And there we have the book, which kind of, there's Johnny Lou himself, and so it kind of just goes through about what they did.
Wow.
So we start off, it's like, I love the smell of vinegar syndrome in the morning, and it's just talking about the whole, starting like what the process was from beginning to end to making this movie. And it's so much fun. This is the standard that you can buy now. So the standards that you can always buy on Amazon, it's just the limiteds which are locked to the Vinegar Syndrome store. So yeah, I'm not going to go into the movie because the time is clicking on. But again, what other release company would do that? What other distribution company would be like, let's look at something a little extra we can do? And they've been doing it with like modern films now, so that helping with the making. I actually don't know what they did to help out, or whether it's just funding, or whether it's like creating contacts for people. We have, I've got that shelf's looking a mess. This was number 2, for example, the film Censor. So this is literally a new film movie from a couple of years ago. Excellent movie. I really love the aesthetic of this and everything about it and what it was. So that's them working with a new director. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly what they were doing, but with this one in New York Ninja, where they documented exactly what they did, and it's so much fun. It's really great movie. Really enjoyable. It's a ninja with roller skates. What else could you want? Amazing company. Yeah. Considering where they started, it was like restoration of porn movies to where they are today. It's insane. It's insane. They just really know the consumer. No, not the consumer. They understand their customer. They speak to the customers, what they want, what they need, kind of thing. And other companies should learn from that. Most companies should learn from that.
Yeah.
So that's one.
If only say Netflix could learn a few lessons, could you imagine what they could do with things like the Texas Chainsaw movie, or just the packaging and the extras and all, just everything that they could do. I don't know why they're not.
But it's kind of like, I think it's why Vinegar Syndrome stopped doing the streaming. They're all about the physical media, and it's like Netflix don't want you to buy the stuff. They want you to subscribe to them, to keep watching their stuff. I think that it's the opposite end of the spectrum to this company.
Yeah. All right, number 1. Wow. The crown jewel of the Anchor Bay whole thing, I think. I'll never forget, years ago, I was just doing some surfing, and I saw it. This is how stupid and naive I was at the moment. I saw it, and the only thing I thought about was, oh, I don't have that in my collection yet, and oh, it's only $12 and change. That's all I thought. Well, I don't think quite like that anymore with this absolutely beautiful Ultimate Edition of the Dawn of the Dead. I still got the thing on the back here. Like this has got to be Anchor Bay's crown jewel. I mean, is there a release anything better than this? I mean, the only one who's equaled it is Second Sight with their 4K edition. But I mean, this is
that one.
Look at that, man.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely. And I mean, and the book in here and everything, or and the map, the layout of the place, which I've been in the mall, which is really super freaking cool. But I mean, I found,
was that the first DVD release?
No.
No. There were some other DVD releases before.
Comic book.
Okay. Oh, nice. I didn't even realize that had a comic book. Ah, cool.
Yeah, and then a nice little. I really should frame this and put this up on a wall or something. But the mall layout. But I don't know, Glenn. Real quick, see how much this goes for now, because I know sometimes I've seen it as much as 100 and 150, 70, 170 more.
Yeah. Take a look here.
I think that one has a lot of connection with. So there's that. People just love that, and it's a heralded collection. I think, even though it's DVD, I think it's like still people keep hold of certain movies that they have on the lesser formats, I'll call it, and that is definitely one that gets kept.
And you know what's cool? I love it. I love that George put his little signature on here. Because I also have his signature edition of Night of the Living Dead. I wish he would have put his signature on the day that Anchor Bay put out, because that is also a phenomenal release. And that I think I want to say I bought both of these at the same time. I bought this and Day at the same time.
Good day.
And like I said at the time, I was still new. I mean, I had decided I'm going to start buying stuff. I'm going to just start collecting. And I mean, you know, when I saw this on there, I'm just like, oh, $12 a change. All right, I need it. I need to have Dawn of the Dead. Not having any idea just how fortunate I was at that moment to see it so cheap. You know,
200 on Amazon.
200.
Yeah.
You know,
on eBay, it's like, you know, 30 to 60 sort of thing. So even there, you know, it's still there's
I'm gonna say, from time to time, I go into my local record stores, or you know, some of my bookstores and stuff. They haven't. I mean, granted, they're used, but they're only like between $20-$25. That's the going rate. And there's, you know, so, and you can tell in the bookstores and record stores I have, they're very particular. I know, because I trade stuff into them. So it's like, you know, it's got to be at the very least, it's got to be passable. So it's got to be passable for excellent quality. So if it's not there, they won't touch it. So if you go in there and it's like, you know, yeah, it's $20. If you didn't need it, you buy it, you know, you're getting a good copy of it. So, so yeah, so I mean, that's usually what I see it going for, is $20-$25 in the record store.
Yeah.
But that's also one of these things with these movies that we know different companies pick them up, they get pushed over to different formats, and then there can be a big time scale, so the rights change. We know that the extras can change. We were very aware of that. And some of these DVDs have extras which the blues and the 4Ks can't touch, because they've had some absolute gold that now no longer you're allowed to put over. The rights are lost and sort of thing. So that's always a good thing to sometimes keep, also for another reason.
Oh, in fact, I'm going to sound really horrible as a dad right now, but when I picked up the second sight, and I told Sam, his first question was, are you gonna give me your Anchor Bay? No.
Here's the link to Second Sight. You can buy one for yourself.
Yeah. I said, get the Second Sight one. It's $50 or whatever. I said, no, you're not having my Anchor Bay DVD. I said, no, you can't have that. No, but you got, no, you're not. No, this is mine. This is, I bought it for $12 and change. This is mine. And it is the crown jewel. It's got to be the crown jewel of Anchor Bay's collection. I don't know if anyone has ever matched where they took a film. I mean, obviously we've seen it a few times where they give you multiple editions of it, but to get the European cut, the director's extended cut, theatrical cut, and to have every cut loaded with commentaries and stuff, and the extra disc, and I think Second Sight probably topped it just a smidgen by, then they add just a few things, a few documentaries and stuff. James?
Yeah.
I
think Lonnie has the same release.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, I've watched it. I've watched a few of the cuts. It's 4K, so I have to watch it upstairs in the living room. But you know, this is just again, it's funny the things you get sometimes. You just don't realize what you're getting. You're just like, oh, you know, yeah, I need Dawn. And you know, and it's and then the other Anchor Bay of the day is such a fantastic release of it. And
I think without that, what you're holding there we don't have that second sight one. That's what you said
Exactly.
earlier. This laid a lot of the groundwork for all these companies to build.
Yeah.
Like Anchor Bay is like the granddaddy sort of thing.
And it's it'll be interesting to see where Anchor Bay goes from here on out. Like, you know, I'm really
It's hard for them now.
I'm really excited just to get dinner with Leatherface.
Yeah.
And just to, you know, that'll be the beginning point of a new, you know, era of Anchor Bay. And hopefully maybe, you know, with other distribution companies have done and are doing, maybe they'll be able to get Anchor Bay back into the swing of things and really start. Now, I read an article in, I can't remember if it was Collider or somewhere, but Lionsgate did retain the filmography. I mean, they retained all of the Anchor Bay movies. So I got the impression that Anchor Bay is starting with a clean slate and basically build, and, you know, unless they work jointly with Lionsgate on something, you know, but from what my understanding was, Lionsgate kept the whole archive of all the movies, and they basically just got the name to begin. And I mean, so yeah, and Anchor Bay's gone through a few emblem or whatever, you know, logo changes. You know, of course, that's the one that everyone is probably most familiar with. But you know,
That's the one they need to bring back.
Yeah, that's and, you know, I mean, and maybe they can you know, take what, you know, Vestron was able to do and just up it a little bit more, because Vestron did a great job of just, you know, coming back from the dead and just reviving themselves. And I mean,
who owns Vestron again? Who is it?
What's that?
Who owns Vestron again? I can't remember. Who's the company behind it? I can't think now. Because they do have some money behind them to be able to do that.
And Vestron's they've done a great job. I mean, my copy of Dagon is freaking, I love it, man, because they got the interview with ST Joshi on there, and you know, I think the last Vestron release I picked up, I think, was
what was that?
Lionsgate owned.
Lionsgate.
Oh yeah, so look at that, man. Freaking Lionsgate.
They also own Media, Metro Goldwyn, and Comcast.
Interesting.
Media. There's another freaking one from the past. I got the Media release of Nightmare on Elm Street on VHS. So Dawn of the Dead, my number one pick for Anchor Bay. Seemed like there was one other thing I wanted to say, but I think I forgot. So maybe I'll remember later. But so my number one, Dawn of the Dead.
Very cool release.
For my number one, it's kind of goes without saying, I have to do this one, the one that put Unearthed Films on the map, and Charlie Sheen sent to the FBI. Guinea Pig, Flower of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Guinea Pig movie.
Sheen, man, he saw this movie and he called the FBI and said, I've seen a snuff film and I want to report it. And the funny thing is, he did it again. When they Hay of Guts and Gore, he saw that and he thought it was real and he called the FBI again. So they got him twice.
How can someone who works in the business not? I'm telling you, some of these actors are freaking.
Yeah.
But it looks, for its time, it looks really good.
It does, and depending on the version you saw of it, because I know there is a cut that they call like the snuff cut, and essentially they take out all of the the exposition scenes, all the thing with like the samurai guy talking to the camera and everything like that. It literally just starts, you know, woman tied on the bed, guy comes in, cuts her up. So, you know, maybe if you saw that, but if you've seen the actual, like the full thing of Flower and Flesh and Blood, you're like, there's no way this is real.
Mm.
And also the fact that, you know, you can see, like, there's a hand and you see it closed, but you see a little wire sticking out of the fingers where, you know, to show it, and you can see that it's fake.
The 80s VHS that's been copied and copied and copied and copied. You're not going to see all this stuff.
But yeah, it fooled them, and so did Bouquet of Guts and Gore. So, number one, Flower of Flesh and Blood, Guinea Pig. Like I said, the one that put them on the map.
Yeah.
And honestly, seriously, Unearthed, I don't know what the deal is. Something to do with the rights, like the people in Japan that own the rights don't want to re-release them or something.
That's a common problem with Japan, though, isn't it? Look at Toho.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, look, at this point, Unearthed, I think, should head over to Japan, find the people, they know who they are, and just say, look, we will buy the rights permanently off of you. You're not releasing it over here. You know, you're not making any money on it, so you know what? Sell it to us. We'll give you a decent amount of cash for it, and like, look, we'll take over. From now on, we will own this series, and we can, you know, and we'll get it released and everything. You don't got to worry no more. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't know, but I mean, the box set of these, you're looking, you know, 200 minimum.
Is that the one with the T-shirt?
No, just the one just with
The
this
normal box.
one with the T-shirt. You're looking for more on that, definitely.
Wow.
But, yeah, it's such I almost just want to call it like an exercise in effects.
Yeah, that and Bouquet of Guts and Gore.
All they really are. They're literally just like, can we make a realistic looking stuff film? It's like, let's see. Oh yeah, we can do it. Is what it is. But definitely deserving of the number one spot. So there, Flower of Flesh and Blood, Guinea Pig, double feature.
It's cool that you got the official one of that, because I got the boot of the set that you gave me the link to. I bought it off that guy because you just can't get it.
You can.
That's the only boot that I have. That and Godzilla versus Bylante, because they're just insane prices, those movies, and can't get them any other way. So they're the only boots that I have.
If you don't give us a legit way to own something, we will find a way.
You have to. You can see we support physical media, we support the companies, but if we can't get to it, there's no. We've been denied it. We have to get it some way.
And the thing is, you know, it's like we've said before when we're talking about like physical media, that like we will buy a proper official release. Even like, for example, Guinea Pig's a good example. Like, say there was a legit release from, say, France. Like say there was a legit release. I would buy that legit release.
Yeah.
It may not have subtitles or anything. I would buy that legit release because, you know, it would be supporting the, you know, the filmmakers and everything to a point, you know. I would like to have like a legit release.
Yeah.
But if we can't get them and we can't, you know, not everyone can afford like $200 to $300 a set of 4 movies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just how it is, you know, but you know, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah. It's that's one of the things, like, kind of with the German companies. It's like that they put a lot of stuff out, and like there's not official sometimes, but that's one of the things I'm always gutted at, is that they have all the Godzilla movies, but they're all in Japanese or German dub. It's like, oh, come on, put some English subs on.
Oh
They
yeah,
don't do it for the Godzilla movies.
oh yeah. And I mean, the thing with that is, like, you know, let's be honest, Toho release, they have their own dubs. There are
Yeah.
Toho for everyone. There are Toho subtitles for everyone. The
Mhm.
Japanese releases should be getting subtitles on those releases
Yeah.
because we would buy them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm amazed -1 got its release so fast. I was like, it's going to be next year we get it, 2025. I'm amazed that they allowed it to come out as fast as it did. I mean, that's not fast in today's. I mean, sometimes there's stuff in the cinema that's now have a release date. It's coming out next month. You're like, still in the cinema. I mean, years ago we had to wait at least 6 months.
Oh,
But like Toho are very much like that. It's like,
wait a year.
hmm,
I remember when Jason Goes to Hell came out in theaters, and it left theaters, and we had to wait a year. It came out on VHS, and then it came out at VHS, and like the one of the video stores that I was in, like there was the guy was in the saying like which movies do you want like this month or whatever, and they're like do you want like the new Friday the 13th? Like, no one will rent that. And I'm like, I'm sat right here, I will rent that. They went out of business pretty quickly though, so you know. So yeah, that's my number 1, 4-hour Flesh and Blood. Good stuff.
cool.
Okay, so for my number 1, this is probably going to seem pretty obvious, but I'm going to go with the Hellraiser Quartet of Torment box set.
Nice.
And this is amazing. I mean, you know, I know that there are people out there that are still, they're like, you got that. I'm still keeping the Scarlet Box. It's like, okay, you know, but
Yeah, you can.
go ahead. It's like, don't. It's just, you know, like, yeah. I mean, I love it. I mean, yeah, I had the Scarlet Box set for a long time, and that was one of my treasures. But you know, of course, like with this one now, I mean, not just that they're 4K, and of course, you got the there. Chatterer. I got the Pinhead. I think you got the Chatterer, don't you?
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Chatterer. I got the Pinhead. So, like, also too, you know, I mean, the fact that they included this one too, you got like the slip.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And you know, just also too, you know, that they included Hellraiser Bloodline in this one now.
Mm.
So and then you get the different cuts of Hellraiser Bloodline and all that stuff. I mean, okay, 1, 2, and 3, the 4K transfer isn't really that much different from the Blu-ray. I mean, you can see some subtle differences, but it's not a huge difference.
Yeah.
Still, you know, I mean, they look great, they sound great, and then, you know, like I said too, now, you know, part 4. The only thing I wish, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, I wish we could get like a second box set where they do the other ones, you know, like Inferno, World, stuff like that. Of course, you got the poster and everything else, and
Is it the same poster from the Scarlet Box?
same poster from the Scarlet Box. There's a here. You got a friggin' hardcover book. This is a book. You got a hardcover book. And so, yeah, you're gonna be reading. You know, like this is like reading a whole novel almost. You know, so
Yes, yeah. Is it the
Yeah.
same that was in the Scarlet Box?
no,
Oh, okay.
this is, but this, the fact that, because I remember, I was like, man, are we ever gonna get a Hellraiser 4K and stuff like that? It's like, how is it, like all these movies that are getting 4Ks and stuff, we don't have a Hellraiser 4K and all that stuff. Oh, I forgot to show this. Hang on. But yeah, I was worried about it. I was like, are we ever gonna get? And then when they come out with this bad boy, it's like, oh hell yeah, and just they went all out and. But just all the work and everything that they put into it and stuff. So, but yeah, and Hellraiser, I know some people are like Hellraiser Bloodbound, but still, okay, you got Hellraiser, you got Hellbound, with the extra scenes and all that kind of great stuff, all bonus features, everything. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, to me, I was just like, this cost me over $100 to get it, but to me, it was worth it. So. Yeah, that's gonna.
Bloodlines is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's not bad. It has. You can't really tell, but they have cutouts. As we see, you can see the cutout here. Angle it. But there's more on Pinhead. Yeah, he has a lot more cutouts. It's just the Chatterer's teeth that cuts out on this one.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that have to be my number one. Quartet of Torment, Hellraiser 1 through 4. So, yeah. I love them. You got now. You could get like a more. I think it's like a streamed down version. You can order off Amazon.
It's a standard set.
Yeah, standard.
They're all 4 still.
Wow, I'm still living with Arrow's original streamed down set where you just got the trilogy.
I had that.
Yeah, and so I still have.
It's the cover art of the poster that's in this set. Yeah, the brown box. Yeah, which is a great set.
It is.
Yeah, like we talk about, like it's really nice when it's got some heft to it. You feel like you really bought something. You know?
That's the one thing when you look at these. This is a soft box. It's not hard like this is proper hard. This one isn't.
Right.
It's the softer cardboard, and that's the one thing with that. It's one of the last Arrow did like that, because remember Scream Factory was doing it for the longest time, and then they were like, okay, everyone's going to hard, so we go into hard box. Because I've got the original Amityville, and I bought it second hand, and they're pretty bashed up, that box.
Yeah.
Because it was.
I'm curious about, because you mentioned that, the one thing I'm kind of curious about, because the other day Arrow announced their November slate that they're getting ready to put out, and I know it's like, okay, they're doing Simple Plan, they're doing The Invasion, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and all this stuff, and they're all slipcovers. I'm kind of wondering if, like, I hope not, but I'm kind of wondering, is Arrow going to start kind of getting it? Are they like, well, everybody else is doing like the hard boxes and stuff? I'm kind of starting to wonder, are they going to start moving away from that and just go into slipcovers? Because I'm kind of.
I don't know, because if you look at Elvira, because I've got the other one, and it was just a slip already. Again, this is what one of them, like, it's a foil, so it's not really showing up, but it's kind of like the Beyond Reanimator. It doesn't glow in the dark, but it's like a nice foil, and it's got a shine to it, this one. But yeah, I think it's, if they were already slip, they're just continuing to slip. There's like Heathers as well. I've got just a Blu-ray of that, and that's slip. And I've got what else was there that's still slip? I'm just going to basically pull everything off my shelf, I think.
Yeah, I know it's going to take me a while just to put crap I got off up.
This bad boy, another one that's kind of for foil effect. I don't think Arrow have Arrow announced the 4K of this one yet.
Killer Clowns.
Yeah, I think this one actually goes for quite a bit. I'm not selling it, but it's kind of one of these. It's where I have these beautiful blue editions. I don't think I'm gonna. It's not when you go from DVD to blue. It's like, wow, the difference, blue to 4K. We've talked about this. There's only certain times I'll upgrade if it's like a limited set, or if I got the I didn't bother getting the Arrow. I had the DVD of Silence of the Lambs, so I got the Kino 4K and like things like that. But to answer you, I think, Lonnie, it's just that they just don't extend the edition if it's already out, unless it was already a box set. Yeah. So I think if it's already out and it's just a standard, they'll just release it as a standard. If it's a, because they did it with American Wealth in London and RoboCop, didn't they? They had 4Ks and they just stuck it in the same. That's what I didn't like. They just stuck it in the same packaging. It was literally just a new disc, and I kind of a bit sad that they did that.
Okay. Yeah, like I don't think they did the Invasion before, or a Simple Plan or anything like that. And I think I remember hearing people talk about like, wow, are they starting to get away from the hard cases? Because all these are just all films.
But maybe it's what the film is.
Yeah.
But then that kind of betrays what I'm saying, because he did get The Hills Have Eyes too. But I think that's more because the director and the first one had that release. Because if I look at by far the most limited sets I have at Arrow, and it's all like Carrie, Candyman, Deep Red, Donnie Darko, The Game, Henry. These are all kind of like important films. Not saying that Elvira isn't important, but I think not every movie can have that limited edition. So I think it's kind of picking and choosing the market. Basically, probably what's going to make them the most money. Like I think from a collector's point of view. But yeah, is that being mentioned? The 4K from Arrow. I know Scream Factory.
Yeah, Scream Factory have one out. I don't know if there's an Arrow 4K or not.
Do they have the rights still? I would have thought they've heard about it by now. Strange, because they're doing things like this, and this came out quite a bit after Killer Clowns.
The thing is, it may be like a year or two, because think about Scream Factory, they did the 4K for Candyman, and it was like a year or two later this comes along, and they did the Blu-ray back in. So I think what it is I think Arrow has the rights to certain movies, for UK distribution, whereas Scream Factory has the American rights. I think that's what it is. So I think that's probably what's going on. It's like right now, Scream Factory's probably got the rights for Killer Clowns for American distribution, but Arrow may still have the rights for UK distribution. So probably give it a year, maybe 2 years down the road, then they'll announce like, now Arrow's going to put out the UK 4K edition of.
Okay, it does get confusing because you look at Candyman, it's like, well, Scream Factory have that and Arrow have that, but is it so there's no the Candyman? It's not, doesn't have a US release through Arrow. Is it just the UK one?
It's
UK.
I think it's just the UK. Yeah, I just find so.
It was weird because The Thing, is that the same with that only the UK has that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's important as well.
Yeah.
So actually,
for color timing.
That's actually what I'm waiting for, though. Is like I want Arrow to be like, okay, now we're going to put our big box 4K of The Thing out. It's like I've already got the movie twice, but I'm willing to go a third time on it for that.
All right, Rob, I've got it 20 times already, but I can add another one.
Yep.
Oh, that one, right? The Blu-ray, the Arrow box set of the Blu-ray for The Thing. It's like I've always wanted that one, so
I have that. I
own three copies of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I do have that one. Have you seen the hardbox limited edition of The Game by Arrow?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I still have it sealed, actually.
I do know, though, I know a lot of people are really pissed off because Arrow is putting out, Trick or Treat and the Friday the 13th remake on 4K, and they're just slips. Everybody's like, God damn it, why can't you give Trick or Treat the big box treat?
Exactly, that movie. Yeah, that kind of doesn't make sense, that one. But so
it's like you're only gonna give it slips. God damn it, come on, So
yeah,
a lot of people
because it's a new movie for Arrow, and I because that has such a cult following, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that really deserves something big. The remake to Friday, I can understand. I mean, because the price is agreeable too. It's only like $25.
Yeah.
for it. So I mean, you can't argue with that. But yeah, Trick or Treat, that has got way too big of a cult following to not give it something special.
Definitely, definitely. But anyway, so I'll just show you this. So we have the game. It's massive. Hard box thing. Yeah, I still haven't opened this. I bought this off someone for £20. It's too big. I don't normally do this because it's not the sole reason, because I'm going to sound like a bit of an ungrateful physical media collector now, but I don't like the artwork. It doesn't match up to the eras of the movies, but it's also the size is why I don't have the Criterion Godzilla set.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is how I store my movies, and this one was really pushing it, but I was like, I can't let that go for £20. I have to buy that one. Then it does fit on, but then when you see it on the shelf, it's massive. It's so big. It's so big. I nearly spoiled my number one then. Sorry. Should I just go into my number one? I realise I haven't said it yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
One. Your turn.
Right. So my number one, my first Vinegar Syndrome. It wasn't 2000. I think it's 2016. My first Vinegar Syndrome. I got this, and there was can't remember what the other one was now, but there's a bit of a gap before I started jumping into them. So it's like if someone asks you, or like if you like, what's Scream Factory to you? What one movie? What's Arrow to you? What that one movie? And it's like, what's Vinegar Syndrome to you? And Vinegar Syndrome is raw force. It could be nothing else more than this is just everything that Vinegar Syndrome is. It's just crazy. It's just it literally has everything in it, this movie. And then to continue with what they do, Vinegar Syndrome. So a few years ago, they started releasing what's called legacy slips. So because now every movie that comes out, it has done for about four years or so now. Every movie that comes out has a slipcover. But what they did, so during Black Friday or halfway to Black Friday, they have the legacy slip, which is slips for older movies. So then, of course, I had to at some point. So they sell these for like $12 or something. No, like $8. It's really cheap. Or we can buy it with a movie again. So I already had that, so I just literally bought the slip to it. So yeah, this is just everything. Looking at Rob's face, you've not seen this movie, have you? Have you guys seen it? Glenn, Lonnie?
I've heard of it.
Oh. So, two big recommendations for you guys. If you want to understand Vinegar Syndrome, watch these movies.
Who directed Raw Force?
Raw Force is... Oh, wow, it doesn't actually... I know. Well, it doesn't say. I know that Jim Wynorski was... He was part of it, but who's the director? Sorry, I'm just going on the VS site now, because it doesn't actually say on the back. That's interesting. Raw Force, here we go. It is Ed Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
What year was that?
It's 80s, this one. I don't think it actually says. Oh, 1981.
Wow.
So yeah, we have like a Cameron Mitchell, Vic Diaz, Camille Keaton is in this, Hope Holiday. So it has some actors to it. It does have some actors to it, this one. Yeah, and I saw Jim Wynorski had something to do with this. Was he? Yeah, his audio interview and with finishing editor Jim Wynorski. So he was part of that. So yeah, it's like I said, my first Vinegar Syndrome, and nothing is more Vinegar Syndrome than this movie. It's like if you watch it, it's got everything in it. It's like all sorts of things mushed together in crazy film that shouldn't work and kind of doesn't, but then it kind of does, and it's just super entertaining. It's just so much fun. It's not quite the vanity project of Champagne and Bullets. It's like a proper movie, but it's that's what a lot of these Vinegar Syndrome ones were. That it was just fun movies. So much fun trashy movies that we as horror fans love. And yeah, obviously, like I said, we're getting Roadhouse and Showgirls and Amityville and stuff like that now. We're getting much bigger ones, but just a great company. Do you guys have much Vinegar Syndrome?
I got quite a bit. Yeah, it was like I got some B movies like I got like Blood Hook and Bloodsuckers from Outer Space.
Nice.
I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 that they did. That big,
Yes.
that's gorgeous.
I have the Arrow of that, which is why I didn't go for the Vinegar Syndrome one.
Oh yeah.
The limited Arrow set.
Yeah, one that has eggshells in it. Yeah.
I think I have a couple DVDs, but the only 3 Blu-rays I have is Splatter University, The Laughing Dead, and Luther the Geek.
Cool.
Yeah, I got the Amityville box set. I got Jack Frost, and
Yes.
what was that other one? Some other one I got for like a review on Body Bags. I can't remember what it was.
Okay. Do any of you guys have Jaws? Vinegar Syndrome? The Jaws release?
You mean Cruel Jaws? Jaws 5?
Yeah, Jaws. But it's with a lawnmower. Have you seen this?
No.
It's literally Jaws, but with a
Okay.
lawnmower.
That-
They're on a golf course. It's so much fun.
Okay.
It's highly recommend picking it. And these are without slip, so I think that they're less than $20, especially in the sale. These are like $9. That sort of thing. These things. It's so much fun.
I picked up The Ripper with Tom Savini. I got that one.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what else. Don't Open Till Christmas. I got that one.
The 4K.
Now that I'm trying to think, I can't. Now it's like it's going. There was that one. Yeah, a while back. Me and Jason, we did a trade because I found the 4K for Terror at 10 Killer, and I had mentioned that on a group chat that yeah, I got it, but I'm not really the hugest fan of that movie. I kind of, if it had the riff tracks commentary, I'd be more willing to keep it. And he was like, "Well, I'll trade it for you. I'll trade it with you. I got something here for you." And so he traded me the movie Infernal Rapist. I traded him that one, and he got Terror 10 Killer and stuff like that. I got one called The Severed Arm, and
Yeah.
now that I'm trying to think of all these ones, I think I got Redneck Zombies. I think they just did that.
Yeah, that was last year, so that's a fairly new one. That had some crazy box set, kind of like the Sadness sort of thing. That had.
Mark of the Witch, I got that one. Of course, these are the standard editions. Blade in the Dark, I got that one. But yeah, that's the Ted Bundy is like now that that's what I said.
Yeah.
Ones I got, but I can't remember all of them. I got pre-ordered that Scarlet Diva, Ozzy Argento's movie. They're getting ready to put that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I got.
Yeah, I think like Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow, and Scream Factory, they're all like the same amount that I have. It's like not my collection. It's capped. I always keep it around a similar size, so it's around 100 releases for each one. But I'll count the box set as one release, so it's more than 100 movies. But it's around that for each one that I have.
Oh yeah, Amityville Horror. I got the 4K for that one. That's a good looking 4K.
I was going to, but I have this set, and then I have the Scream Factory original trilogy.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't. I was like, it's fine as that Blu-ray. I'm happy with that Blu-ray. So I try not to jump to 4K unless I have to.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I know I've seen it, and it looks really nice, that 4K.
well, it's just a couple of days ago. It's like that's the thing, especially like with Kino titles. More often than not, I got to be honest. It's like when it comes to Kino titles, I'm like, okay, they're getting ready to put this out on 4K. It's like, but they got the Blu-ray. I was like, I could just go for the Blu-ray. I'd be happy.
Especially because how good the quality of Kino is. It's not like it's going to be that different.
No, not really. You know, and all the bonus features are on the Blu-ray anyway and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and so yeah, just like the other day, I pre-ordered Zoltan, Hound of Dracula, and well, that's going to be about $30, but it's like the Blu-ray is half of that, and I was like, I've seen the movie. It's not something I'm going to watch very often. I think I could just go with the Blu-ray and be happy with that. So I was like, yeah, So I just took off the 4K and I just ordered the Blu-ray. It's like that's good enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the thing. I did get the 4K for Cannibal Apocalypse. And I watched it. It's kind of like I could have just stuck with my Blu-ray.
Yeah. It's certain movies. It's kind of like that. But I'm stuck at the moment. I have like an old DVD of Paths of Glory, and I'm like, what do I do? Because Eureka, they have both. I'm like, do I go for the 4K or do I go for the blue? I'm still a bit stuck. I haven't made the choice yet.
I have the Criterion Blu-ray of Paths of Glory, and I have to admit, I just haven't really jumped on upgrading that one because most people always tell me, and like they say, it was like a while back when I reviewed Pan's Labyrinth on the channel, and a couple of people have mentioned to me, it's like, yeah, I saw your review for that. You got the 4K and stuff. And it's like, dude, just get the Criterion Blu-ray. It looks better. And
it's a really nice blue. I have that. It's really nice.
The latest, the last jump I made from an older DVD release of something to it just happened to be Criterion, and the jump was really significant, even though it was from DVD to DVD, and that was Scanners.
Yeah.
That was a remarkable. I mean, that was pretty noticeable. I mean, I've always just watched the old DVD of it. I mean, with the initial release of it, and then I finally got my hands on Criterion, and man, it was like I swore I could have just put in a Blu-ray of it. It was so good, so good.
Oh no, I didn't realize. You just made me think.
Anchor Bay. Oh, look at that.
Yes. Only just thought about that. I'm like, yeah, hold on, because I don't have many Anchor Bay, because Anchor Bay did distribute in the UK, just not so many. Yeah. So this was from years back. So before I was region free and all of that. So yeah.
And that's, I was joking with someone about that earlier today. I said, for as much as people like to say, oh, we live in a the world is a small place, it's a global village, and we're all, if that were really truly the case and people really wanted it to be that way, you could go into any grocery store and go to the gift card section or whatever and find at least a small section of Amazon UK cards to go right with the normal Amazon cards, if that were the case. But you don't find that, and you can't go, you just can't go into a Walmart and buy a region-free player. You have to go onto Amazon and find one. It's like, for all that people say that, they don't really mean it, because they don't want you to have that ability to,
share.
Yeah, I mean,
they lose money when you share, so you have to shut doors to make more money.
No, I mean,
silo off, so everyone's in their own silos.
Yeah, and it's just like, even if something as goofy as I grabbed Land of the Dead on DVD sometime way back off of Amazon UK because of just the artwork. Because
you're a big fan of that, aren't you?
Oh, I love that. And I just do not understand why the 4K with this new release coming down can't give you both.
Yeah, it's just like,
I know Glenn was giving me grief on that, but that hand is so, it just cringes me. I just, to no end. Sam came up to me and he's like, look with their Land of the Dead. I'm like, I don't even want to look at that. Just don't.
Yeah, I already know.
Oh.
I'm just taking a look on Vinegar Syndrome's website right now. Did you know they have the House by the Cemetery 4-issue comic collection hardbound like box thing, like $75?
No, that was literally $30 not so long. They just had a Labor Day sale or something like that, and they had the I nearly went for it, but I knew I probably would never read them. So they have the hard box 4 comics set of zombie flesh eaters. Yeah. So that always pops back to the sale. So that'll go down. That was $20. $20.
Wow.
And I nearly went for it, but then I was like, I don't know where I'm going to put it. I have a full bookshelf, and I'm like, I'm not going to read them. I'm just buying them because they're awesome and cheap. But I can see at some point I'm going to look at my shelf one day and I'll be like, oh, there they are. I've bought them.
I'm looking at this right now. I mean, this looks really good.
Is it it's the Ebon press or something like that? It's called.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
it.
look
Ebon.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so they're their own company, but then when they do it through Vinegar Syndrome, they come in a hard box with all extra stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny about some of that stuff. I just, and I said this stuff before. It's funny when there was a moment when you didn't even own a movie, it was not in your collection, but then now you have it probably 3 or 4 times in your collection. Zombie is one. I mean, of course, the Blue Underground is such an incredible release, but I mean, I got the Arrow release, I've got the old Blue Underground release, and I'm sure I got it one other time. But I remember back in the old days when VHS was at its high point, you could go into a Suncoast, and I can't remember who put out Zombie on VHS, but it was a special collector's edition, and it was the infamous, just the main zombie head on the cover. Probably was Anchor Bay, probably. But that was, man, those were the days when you could go in there and see a whole wall filled with just special collector's edition, director's cuts of some of these movies on VHS format. And but of course now we've replaced them with the latest Blue Underground release, and but it's funny to think that VHS had its moment too, where it just reached that peak, and it was just
Yeah, I remember that.
And it even got to the point where VHS was starting to put extras on the tape.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot, but I mean, it was like My Army of Darkness has got a pretty sizable documentary on it, which is, funny. You got to,
You start getting the 2 tape editions where, tape 1 was tape 2, you had the bonus features on there.
Oh, yeah.
That's we've come a long ways.
Yeah, I think of that zombie one. I think in UK it was Vipco that put it out.
Who is it?
Vipco.
Oh.
Yeah, I think did that. But yeah, I remember, Lonnie, just what you said, that sometimes you would get a double. I remember seeing Titanic, and it was like a double thing or a triple thing. I can't remember, but I don't know why I've suddenly just remembered about something about you, Lonnie, with Second Sight. I just remembered I just pre-ordered Blair Witch Project as well, limited edition. I don't know why that just popped into my head. Yeah.
Do me a favor though, when you get that Second Sight edition, because see, I got the imprint one. I jumped on the one because
is that with both of them?
Yeah, with 1 and 2.
All right, I did that.
Yeah, it's like this was before I knew about the Second Sight. I saw the imprint one was coming, and I was like, oh shit, I could finally upgrade my Book of Shadows from DVD to Blu-ray. So I jumped on that. And then, it comes out, well, Second Sight is going to put it out. And it's like, I'm interested to know about that, what do they call it, the festival cut?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because let me know, like, what that's all about. Like, is it a longer version or however?
Yeah, I'll go through that. So I don't know if you can hear my 4-year-old there. Yeah, I'll go through it. That's the one where a lot of the time I like that they're always trying different things with the artworks and these limited box sets, but a lot of the time they just don't quite hit with me. It's like it follows. It was beautifully illustrated, but it didn't grab the essence of the movie. This Blair Witch artwork is fantastic for Second Sight. I'm completely in love with it. It's just so good. It just really grabbed what that movie is.
It really does look like a beautiful addition.
Yeah.
I might have jumped on that if had I not, but that was the thing. It says, oh wait, Blair Witch 1 and 2 is like, okay, I'm going for that. I was like, oh shit, now there's another one coming.
Yeah, this only has the first one. It is only the first one. But yeah, that was an expensive. I'll have a quick look at this site, and then yeah, 4K the Hitcher, and then limited. Only Blu-ray of Blair Witch, but does not need to be 4K, that movie. But I did notice that they don't mention Blu-ray anywhere. It's almost like they're trying to keep it quiet, but it's only a Blu-ray. Because I think some people are, I only want 4K. No. Maybe.
Well, guys, you want to call it a wrap?
Yeah.
What's the
quite
run?
long.
What's the runtime, Glenn?
Well, right now it's 1:30, so
Okay.
3 hours 40 minutes. It's been recording.
Well, this is, physical media. This is why we do it, right? This is, proof why we enjoy it. And so it's, I thought overall it was a great selection across. Now, no one ever overlapped, right? No one.
No. None of that.
Yeah, that's perfect. And there was a moment where it almost could have, but it didn't. So that was good too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is easily this. We could do this again and just pick different distribution companies.
Exactly. Yeah, we should do a part 2. It'd be really good to do.
We should. Maybe we could. Yeah. So, well, let's cut. And hopefully, Glenn can get this. Hopefully, this will get up in one swoop. He's gonna have to do a workout on this one, condense and squeeze it down. But well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. We've enjoyed it. We just love talking physical media, and this is where it's at for us. It's where it's always been for us. And so, but a part 2 to this sounds like a great idea. So thank you, James, for getting in here, for getting up early. And, some of us got to crawl to bed here, and it may even be too late for Lonnie to put in a movie at this point.
Matter of fact, I haven't watched this in years, so I think I'm going to revisit this.
I'm going to try to get everything back into order and crawl to bed.
Look at some collapsing.
You should see the pile on my couch right now.
Well, that in of itself has a source of joy too. So just
Rearranging
things off, putting them back on. So it's the joy of having stuff that you can hold on to. So, all right, Glenn, thank you. Lonnie, thank you. James, thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time.
see ya.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everyone.